Greetings everyone and welcome to another episode of the GnM Podcast. Episode 11, I believe it is.
First of the new year.
Yeah, racking them up, and first of the new year. And this is a throwback, to the old GnM Podcast fans. By that I mean like 4 episodes ago. Because it's just me and Nathan this time.
As it should be. Just classic and still the best.
Classic GnM, classic good old GnM. Yeah. I want to say we got a comment last week of like a guy being like, oh yeah, and it's like the GnM Podcast is out, and he like makes it like his own little thing, like he gets his drink and gets a bit of food ready, and just like listens to it while he's going on his phone. I'm like, fair, making it a nice little thing. That's cool.
Thanks. That warms my heart.
Yeah. But George isn't available because he's got a lot of work to do in for today. So the day of recording him, if we want to get it on time, we have to record today. But this is the beauty of having 3 people at the ready. So. Yep.
Because if one of them can't turn up, the others stand and deliver.
Yeah, true. So we've got quite a bit of stuff to do. I think this is going to be mainly a gaming podcast, mainly because there is little to no movie news out at this moment in time. There's going to be much more out in the coming weeks with it's award season coming up, so we'll be saying this person was shit, this person was good, whatever. There's going to be a lot of that.
January is pretty much a graveyard for films.
Yeah,
this time of year. So
the only ones you get like stuff that's getting released over in this country that's already been released in America, like The Hateful Eight and Revenant. Yeah. But people kind of already know a lot about that, especially our audience anyway.
Yeah, because you're mostly American.
Yeah, bloody yaks.
Honestly.
Yeah, it's like our second demographic isn't even English. It's American, then Canadian, which are pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. You probably pissed off a lot. He's not serious, people. So please don't stop listening.
Oh, I am.
Conor, shut up.
Okay, so let's go straight into it.
Let's go right for it. Yeah.
So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about a couple of news topics, kind of ones that I think we could start off quite big discussions, especially the first one, and then we're going to be kind of covering some of the games that are going to be coming out this year, questions, and then touching on a little bit of movie news. So the first one is about Assassin's Creed, and it's confirmed that the series is going to be taking a year off. There's going to be no major Assassin's Creed game this year. There's going to be the Assassin's Creed 2.5D games,
the
Chronicles, and there's another website marked the Assassin's Creed Collection, so it's rumoured that there's going to be re-releasing old games. Is that
I wouldn't put it past them.
No, there's that rumour going around. And I think this is probably the best news the franchise has had in a very long time.
It's, I think, a great move for the franchise.
And the best thing for me is that this is the first one that the people from Black Flag are making since Black Flag.
Sorry?
This is the next one is the one that the team from Black Flag, because you have
yeah,
it's them making this new Assassin's Creed game.
Who was that? That was that wasn't Montreal. Was
no,
it?
It wasn't Montreal. It was Assassin. I'll just quickly search it right now. Was it Reflections? It could have been Reflections. It was. It said Ubisoft Montreal, but it was like a form. It was like a bracket with it, wasn't it?
Yeah, like Revelations was Ubisoft Sophia or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was on the side platform of. I think it was just Ubisoft Montreal. I think we were wrong.
Okay.
We are wrong.
There we go.
We are wrong. Okay.
It does happen occasionally.
Yeah. the odd time.
More than it does to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll say again, I think this is the best news the franchise has had in quite a long time. It's getting stale. The sales for Syndicate were affected because of the kind of crappiness of Unity.
Yeah.
And that the buggy not being able to play the damn game. So this is great news. This is the right thing. This is kind of what everyone was screaming at them to do. Yeah. Well, it went past screaming. It went to the point of just being like, "You're an idiot for not doing it."
Your head against a wall.
Yeah, grabbing you by the throat. Dude, take a year off. Take a year off.
Fucking do it. Just do it.
Yep. Yeah, and we got an email that
I'm surprised no one made that into a meme, actually. Shia LaBeouf there.
Yeah, just do it.
Do it.
Don't let your dreams be dreams. We got
yesterday you said tomorrow, so just do it.
Yeah. So I'll just say yesterday we got a no, it wasn't yesterday. We got it was a few days ago. It was like from an old podcast. The comment saying like it was one where we had like quite a lengthy discussion about Assassin's Creed. And the guy was like, I've never seen a set of people both love and hate something at the same time more than you two. And I was like, that's kind of the perfect way to describe it.
It's so true. Yeah.
And what do you think about it taking a year off? What do you think?
I think it's great. I think it's good for like the future of the series.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think they're going to. I don't think we're not going to get an Assassin's Creed release this year. There is going to be, other than Chronicles, an Assassin's Creed game released.
So you still think there's going to be a major release?
Well, I think it will be a re-release.
Okay, so like a remaster.
Yeah, like a remaster of Assassin's Creed 1, or maybe the Ezio trilogy games, because those were the kind of the most popular. Those were certainly what roped me into the franchise.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put it past them that they are releasing or re-releasing another Assassin's Creed game, because it's been like 7 years, I think, since the first Assassin's Creed game came out, and since then we've had a game every year, and last year or the year before we had 2 games.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't fit with the way they market to just go without completely.
Yeah.
And I think they'd probably be worried that the vast majority of people would see no Assassin's Creed. Oh, is the franchise over? Oh, okay, I'll move on to something else, and people will get bored. But if they come out and go, look, it's the old Assassin's Creed, the one you remember. It's it's Assassin's Creed 2, it's Brotherhood, it's Revelations, it's got all DLC included, it's got this feature, that feature, that sort of thing. People go, oh, great, and jump to get that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put it past them, but like I said, on face value, them not releasing a new kind of AAA game this year, I think it's a good move for the franchise.
It's a very good move, yeah. And I want to kind of give credit to them in a way because there's a film coming out this year, Assassin's Creed film.
There is, yes.
Yeah, and it would have been extremely easy to just go, like, we're going to tie the game in with the film.
Full movie license, make it Spain.
Yeah, like I don't know much about the film, to be honest with you, but
I think from what I understand, it's set in Spain, just in the 1400s, I think, just before Ezio's time, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
But Michael Fassbender is not Desmond Miles,
yeah,
and the ancestry takes control of is not Altair.
Okay.
I know that much, and I know it's set in Spain. The name has escaped me, who they are.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's as much as I know so far.
Yeah, and it would have just been so easy to do a tie-in with the film, basically do the film story, but in like longer game form.
Mm-hmm.
And
I completely agree.
Yeah, it would have been for Ubisoft. We won't put it past them, but with the declining performance compared from 2015's figures compared to 2014's, because 2014 had a lot of even though it was a disappointing year in like how good the games were, they sold a lot of copies because of there was a lot of hype about Far Cry 4, Unity, The Crew, Watch Dogs.
And Unity looked superb.
Yeah, I remember before we started looking at this. Like, I'll say again, I enjoyed Unity. I didn't mind it. I was like playing it, and I was like, I'm actually having fun playing this. And like people, were slacking it off online, but mainly because of how it wouldn't run. But I got it, obviously about a month and a half after that. So the majority of it on PS4 was patched, but on the mid-range PCs, it was still, buggy as anything. Yeah, still dreadful. And that affected the figures for 2015. Sorry, and obviously rightly so. But this is another thing to show that people vote with the wallet, as people
Absolutely.
say. And this like I said, I'll say it again. This is the best news I've heard for Assassin's Creed in a while. It got me probably thinking. Let's take a look at this next Assassin's Creed game. Not let's definitely get it, but let's have a look, see what it's about. Because Syndicate, they just went over our heads, didn't it?
It did, yeah. I was not interested in Syndicate.
I actually own the game. I haven't had a chance to play it yet because I've been playing so much Uncharted. and then
how is Uncharted, by the way?
we're going to go into that after the Oculus Rift thing, the
Absolutely.
games we played this
Excellent.
week. But we're going to. I thought we'd do a bit different because there's kind of like two major news topics that have kind of come out. But yeah, I think the reason for that being was because you know how Unity was and seeing it kind of similar to what it was before. And yes, it was in London, which was a setting that kind of everyone wanted. But I'm going to be honest, if there's going to be a setting for me, I think Samurai would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that would be cool as
Yeah.
well. I would still like them to kind of find an area of, you know, a time period and just stick to it.
Yeah.
You know, so if possible, I'd maybe like to see them maybe a Samurai period or do a few games there.
Yeah.
So, you know, we can really kind of get to grips with that kind of environment and that setting, you know.
Yeah. It's like, would I be a fan of like a modern day Assassin's Creed? Well, Watch Dogs was meant to be that. and personally, I'd rather to go a bit further back again. You know, I think it was
Back
cool.
to swords and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting a bit too close to reality. I don't want them to do one in, like, the World War, for instance.
Oh, I'd hate that.
Yeah.
I would hate that.
It's like one of the stories that I heard when Jesse Cox, when he went to E3 in, like, 2000, I think it was 14 or something like that, and he went to the devs at Ubisoft. It's like, he had an idea once in a dream ages ago that, like, there was an Assassin's Creed game, the cinematic, was filmed, you know, on D-Day, on the you know, there's the Germans on one side and the Brits on the other, and he's like running in between and like jumping and diving over bullets and everything, and jumping over enemies and stabbing them in the neck, avoiding bullets and everything as a joke, saying it as a joke, thinking that'd be hilarious. And then the looks on the developers' faces was like, that's not a bad idea.
Holy shit, this guy can write better than we can.
He's like, you want a job?
Oh, that would be amazing. If you just pitched an idea to them just off the cuff and they just went, well, hi.
Yeah, that's kind of not bad.
Yeah, we kind of like that.
Yeah.
That's all right, yeah.
But I do think Egypt is a good setting, personally. It's like they can do some... I'm hoping to go a bit further back in time, you know.
Well,
which...
I remember them teasing or suggesting that or it might have just been a leak someone came up with, off the top of their heads or something. Someone made it up. But I do remember them teasing Egypt, actually, a few years ago. It was during that period between, I think, Assassin's Creed Revelations and Assassin's Creed 3.
That was a while ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago, where no one was quite sure where they were going to go, whether they were going to go back to Egypt. Because after Revelations, they had Altair saying to Darim, go be with your son, that sort of thing, be with your family, live well, saying goodbye to his son, and that made it look as if, he was going to go on his own adventure and form his own brotherhood and that sort of thing. And he did actually go to Egypt.
Yeah.
So it might make sense. And people were saying that's where the next Assassin's Creed game is taking place. But obviously they went with America.
America.
America, fuck yeah. Yeah, so if they did, maybe they would go further back and do it just after Altair and have it Darim, or maybe Darim's son, because Darim looked a bit old. A little bit old. He's spry for an older gentleman, but, still old. I mean, I know Ezio was 52 in Revelation.
Yeah.
I mean, damn, that guy can move.
For a 52-year-old in them days, he should be dead. Long dead.
Long dead. And how did he manage to father a daughter? That's what I want to know at 52. I mean, I know it's not biologically impossible, but you would have thought he'd break a rib or something, doing that. But
she went on top.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
See, this is why we attract a mature audience. These, important discussions in the gaming industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
absolutely.
The thing that I like when do you know the moment he said Egypt?
Yeah.
Like I don't know why, but my mind just literally jumped back. Like BC to the times the pyramids were being built, and he's jumping from block to block, as it's being built, fighting people, and then. But I do think that it's got potential, to kind of do some weird religion stuff, with the markings on the wall and
and the first civilization being the Egyptian gods. Or
exactly, and stuff like that,
like Stargate.
Yeah,
except they're not aliens.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, the first Civ are aliens, aren't they? Never mind. I'm just going completely off base.
Yeah.
What I pictured in my head was the assassin hanging off the end of the Sphinx's nose and it breaking off, and that's how it's got no nose now.
Yeah. There's a lot they could do, like, God, can you imagine if they did modern day Egypt? That'd be the most boring game in the world. Just kind of go around, get like... your camel here.
Camel!
Yeah.
Get your camel!
But, going like back to that time, doing an Assassin's Creed, like, yeah, I think I'd much rather a 15th century Egypt because it's still kind of in its prime then compared to what it is in 18th century. Because 18th century is kind of when it starts going on the downhill, you know, to where it is today.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, obviously it was in its prime, you know, in the Roman era and before then. But, you know, it piqued my interest. I think it's a good location. It's kind of, you know, this kind of Middle Eastern looking place, but it was like in, you know, Altai, was it Istanbul? I think it was Istanbul.
Yeah, it was Istanbul with Ezio, yeah.
Yeah, Ottoman Empire, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Ottoman Empire,
yeah. So it's kind of piqued my interest, you know. It's going to be good to hear some stuff about it. Maybe there's some stuff about it this year at E3. More than likely hear about stuff probably at the end of this year, beginning of next year, because that's kind of what this is, like the time, isn't it, for Assassin's Creed leaks? End of the year, beginning of the year.
Usually, I mean, last year's was early. I mean, that was early December that dropped, wasn't it?
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Victory, because we was at college on the day, just like on the computer, just been like, it's like, have you heard about, just like going on the news, and then we saw Assassin's Creed Victory, the next game was like in London. It was like, oh, London's kind of cool. And I think this is about the time after the Assassin's Creed 3 release, actually, they teased Assassin's Creed 4, wasn't it? I believe it was, yeah.
Yeah. It comes out, I
just remember every single person after that just being like, but pirate ships!
Yeah. No, I saw Blackbeard, and when he said, hi, Blackbeard, or something like that, I was like, oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
I do see what you mean, though. BC would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be
if they
great.
did do BC, that would be awesome.
It's like, I don't know, like the start of the Creed or something. You know, it's like it's only just been recently formed, and like the rules are a bit rougher. I think it could have a kind of cool premise, but it's like it. The only part of me that's worried about being Egypt is if they're following in this kind of, you know, later date thing that they've been doing. Yeah,
and it's like early 1900s, but it's okay because it's the Middle East. They don't have guns.
Yeah,
that would be historically inaccurate and a little bit racist.
Yeah, they changed the do you know the horse and carriage thing? You know that they put in Syndicate. They changed that to like camel rides, and then they're bashing into each other and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. So, you got anything more to add on Assassin's Creed?
Not really.
No. It's like we'll talk a bit more, you know, when the new game's announced. We'll kind of hypothesize a bit more then about what it could be. But you know, at the minute, it's just good news. Good on Ubisoft. You know, like it's a guaranteed cash grab, but you know, it was under threat of, you know, sales figures dropping year in year out.
Yeah. They had to do something different, and to be fair, this is, I think, the right move, and this is the one people have been wanting them to make. So you can't say they're not listening to people. Yeah,
maybe it's a couple of years too late, but you know, rather late than never at the end of the day, isn't it? Rather late than never. So, this has probably been the biggest news of the week. Just kind of dropped yesterday that the pre-orders for the Oculus Rift are now open. Yeah. And it's been priced at $600, and it's going to come out in March. And it's going to be getting over 100 games throughout the course of the year. Not all of them, obviously, not AAA games. The majority of them are going to be like Ride the Roller Coaster, or you know.
Yeah, you can get those for free on the App Store right now. I do it with my little Google Cardboard thing that I've got. Yeah, it's great. That one's really great fun. To be fair, it's really good.
But
sorry, do go on.
It does feel weird that, you know, it's coming out, because this has been around, you know, forever. Like,
the future is here.
Yeah, it's like I remember bloody 3-4 years ago it being around and it being big queues. It's always had big queues at every single, you know, convention that I've been to, and every E3 always said it's got the biggest lines and everything like that. And I think that obviously it's going to sell a lot of copies, but probably best to wait. Would you because prices drop for these things every year, and the more games there's not going to be your big AAA titles on the Oculus Rift for probably a few years yet, until we truly understand how to use the technology. Because of what of what I've heard from people that have played, the dev kit one. The one that you could buy as a developer, which was like $2,000 just to test. The games where you're moving around, you're up and walking up and down and stuff, would just make you feel sick. It just didn't feel right, because it just didn't feel right. The motion while you're sat down and you've got it right in front of you and you're looking around and stuff. But the ones that did work is the ones where you're in like a space shuttle and you're looking around, or like Euro Truck Simulator with the Oculus Rift.
Yeah, where you just got to kind of move your head.
Yeah,
the thing I found for them, the useful thing for them is just if you sit in a spinny chair, an office chair, and that way you can just just push yourself around.
Exactly, yeah, but it's obviously cutting edge technology. This stuff is the future of gaming at the end of the day. It is going to take off. Will it completely take over? We've got a question about that in the question section, so we'll leave that point. But I do think that I'm glad it's coming out. I'm glad there's going to be some stuff, stuff kind of coming out about the whole thing of virtual reality a lot quicker. We're going to be hearing a lot more stuff about it, and I think it's kind of good news. It's coming out. What's your opinions?
I agree. I'm going to be interested to see if it takes off. £600 or $600, I should say. That's quite steep for my price range.
It is, but would this shock you? Do you know the first Pong?
Yeah.
If you're using inflation, the inflation rate from then until it come out now, guess how much it would have cost if it come out now?
Something astronomical.
$836 just for
Christ,
Pong.
On a bicycle.
Just for Pong.
That's amazing. Yeah, that is amazing.
And because it was and it sold an absolute ton because it was real cutting edge. Playing video games in your home was
of course,
unheard of. And this is, this is a major step for gaming. This is probably the biggest step there's been since probably 3D modeling. And it's massive. It's not going to fully 100% take off. For a few years yet.
No, because at the minute it's still quite expensive and it's still new, kind of untested technology.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's going to sell a lot of copies.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the way these things tend to work is they take an idea, they respond to feedback from first buyers and that sort of thing, and then they release new, updated, refined models. If you look at the DS, look at how ugly that motherfucker was when you first bought it. Now look at it now. You've got the 3DS, and 2DS, or the XL, which is like some kind of space age Star Trek style communicator, and looks beautiful. And if you look at going even further back, the Game Boy Advance. You have the Game Boy Advance, which looked like a PSP and was quite blocky and difficult to use. Or you had the Game Boy Advance SP, which was like a clamshell, again, Star Trek communicator kind of thing. So they're going to take it and refine it.
Or you could get the Game Boy Color, which was just like a lump of brick but green.
Yeah. Or you could get that first, what was it, Nintendo? Oh no, it wasn't. There was one of those really old consoles where the controller was just a rectangle. And it was really difficult to use because it was so thin. It's like a dial,
wasn't it? Yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And if you got Rageous and were gripping your controller too tight, it would give you stigmata.
Yeah.
Your palms would just start bleeding spontaneously.
Yeah.
So it's still got a long way to go, but I think these first kind of initial ones are going to be for people who really, really, really want to be at the cutting edge, and I can't say I blame them because it's an exciting new time, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it is, and they've required the high-end PCs to be able to work, to be able to operate, which is obviously going to be a thing for the beginning, but that's obviously going to be refined the further it goes down. But I can just predict what's going to happen. PlayStation will announce their Project Morpheus. Well, it's called PlayStation VR now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, which is not as cool.
Yeah, I kind of got gripped to Morpheus. I was like, that's kind of like a cool name.
Yeah.
Call it Morpheus. but you know, they're going to come out there and go like, oh, price tag $400 and just sell out against the Oculus Rift in this first year.
And it has the added advantage of being connectable to your PS4. It's not like for, with PC gamers.
Exactly, and there's a lot more, PlayStation 4s out there than there is high-end gaming PCs.
Yeah,
and there's
a lot more PS4s out there than there are Xbox Ones as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, and Xbox aren't working on their own VR.
No,
PlayStation
I don't think. Well, no, they're working on that Google Glasses thing, aren't they? Which is going to be compatible with Xbox One.
Well,
I thought.
Yeah, Google will get going there, which are going to be, but that's more for the everyday world, not necessarily for gaming.
Yeah.
Whereas, the Oculus Rift and PlayStation VR are directly to gaming.
Yeah, but that fits in with Xbox's kind of brand now, isn't it? They
does,
want
yeah.
to turn the Xbox not into a games console, as it describes on the box, but into some kind of home entertainment system.
Yeah.
So...
that's one thing that's kind of getting me, interested, wanting to get to, the next console launch, which is going to be a while away, a few years away. But just seeing how Xbox are going to market it, are they still going to try and harp onto this, one for everything thing, because it didn't work, this time, or are they going to try and go this is the ultimate gaming machine for, a player with a limited amount of money. Which, the PlayStation did this time, but, obviously didn't get the hardware completely correct.
Yeah, I mean, with things like Netflix and YouTube and applications like that on the Xbox One and Twitch, they have their place.
Yeah. I mean, especially Netflix does. Everyone who has an Xbox One has Netflix, and everyone who I know uses it on it. Just goes, it's like the Netflix machine, if there's anything.
Yeah, and that's a big draw to it. Being able to fire up Netflix and watch whatever you want to watch. Let's say, topically, it's Daredevil, because we're going to talk about Daredevil later. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But that's great, and that's a big draw to my 360. But to have that and all those features dwarf the actual gaming side of a games console is one that really puts me off the console. So I hope they kind of backslide and go, okay, look, just here's a straight up console. It's got your Netflix, it's got your YouTube, you use it if you want, but basically it plays games, it's got great graphics, and we're not going to bother with any of those, extras like the Kinect or the voice control or whatever. How about we just give you a console, and with a normal controller, with a nice controller, because I don't like the Xbox One's controller, really.
Nor do I don't like the bumpers.
No, I hate the bumpers, I really struggle with those. And go and have your fun. You don't have to worry about, Xbox Live subscriptions. You don't have to worry about whatever. No, none of that stupid gaming sharing, whatever. What was it? The PlayStation. They had their. They were basically, Xbox had this entire video lined up showing how you trade in games with other people, because originally you couldn't, could you?
No, they had this family thing where you could, once you're done with the game, you could give it to someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was no free movement of the game between people, was there?
No.
And so they had a video lined up how you do it, how to share a game on the Xbox One, and then PlayStation came out with their own how to share a game on the PS4, and it was just two guys stood there, and one of them handed over the box to the other guy, and he went, "Oh, thanks," and walked off and played it. Oh, I loved it.
Yeah. And just before we get a ton of comments, yes, you can get Netflix and YouTube on PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
But come on. No one's going to Netflix and PS4 going, hey, PlayStation, search whatever, because the voice command is dreadful. And no one uses it. I remember the first day I got my PlayStation, I was trying to use it, and I was like, PlayStation, start FIFA, go to the PlayStation Store. And I'm like, okay, I see what this is at.
Alright, I get it. It's like on Top Gear, whenever they would do the voice command car things.
Yeah.
They would call Richard Hammond, and it'd start, I don't know, planning their route to Vienna or something like that.
Yeah, but this is they're probably going to be one of the things that this is probably going to be hearing a lot in the year about. You know, if we thought we heard a lot about VR before, this is the year we're going to probably be kicking on about it. You know,
yeah, absolutely. This is where we're going to actually see some returns, aren't we?
Yeah. I will say though that I do find it hypocritical from people who are like, you know, don't pre-order games, and then when the Oculus Rift was announced, you know, with the thing, it's like, oh, I ordered mine straight away. It's a bit strange, isn't it?
That is a bit hypocritical.
Yeah, and like one thing I kind of found surprising was that one of the people that were saying this were like YouTubers that advocate for the don't pre-order scheme.
Yeah.
And I find that kind of strange to go don't pre-order one thing, but when some new thing comes about, and I understand, you know, it's their job, you know, to get the new stuff in gaming, kind of show.
Yeah, they got to get ahead, haven't they? Yeah.
I understand that, but you know, branching out there, going, oh, I ordered mine straight away, is kind of, you know, I think kind of sending out the wrong message in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. But to be fair, one thing I did just think of. Think about the potential for you know, face kind of Twitch streams now. You know when when they're streaming Oculus Rift and they have a little window showing their face and their reactions and things as they're playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about the potential for that now.
Yeah.
All you'll see is just some guy gawping in midair, just like.
Yeah, he's like looking around and like, come on, looking at the camera, guys.
yeah. And he's got his mouth open like a fly catcher or something like that. I think they said it on Funhouse. No one can look good while wearing the Oculus Rift.
No.
They all look gormless.
No, but did you see the? Do you know that you're going to be able to get Rock Band on the Oculus Rift?
I didn't see that.
Well, you can get Rock Band on the Oculus Rift.
That would be pretty cool, to be fair. I mean,
it could be, but you will look like the most nerdy person probably ever with the Oculus Rift on and a fake guitar.
I've got over 9,000.
Yeah, it's like I'm so cool, guys. I play guitar, and like I feel like I'm there in the actual concert. It's like, you know, if you know, you get one of them things, you know, the Oculus Rift, you know, which is cool, and you're just getting it to play Rock Band, you know, with all day. Maybe it's time to maybe go outside.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit.
You know, I understand getting it for, you know, them space cadet games, because, you know, that for them things it's cutting edge, you know, to look around and see the space and really feel like you're there. But Rock Band, come on.
Yeah. No, you kind of buyer beware. You will not look cool while wearing an Oculus Rift.
Definitely not.
No one looks good while wearing a VR headset. They just don't.
I love seeing. I know you're not a fan of Conan, but when Conan went to E3 and he tried the Morpheus, and he played this game when he was like, it's kind of like Skeleton, when you kind of go and you're on a skateboard on your back and you're kind of weaving in and out of cars, and you're like moving left to right and stuff depending on where you look. And he was like, he had to like lay on his back while they were doing it, and he was like screaming as they were going, and then the developer of the thing from PlayStation couldn't hold him. He was just like laughing. It was like, there's the way he was just like screaming, because like, then there's like people, you know, mainly older people, who, do you know, when they put it on and start moving, they like lose the usage of the legs. They just drop, because like they just kind of like lose a sense of where they are, which is weird, which is baffling. Like, I'm going to be honest, like I used the Oculus Rift in 2013 for a indie game. I think it was called Scream Ride or something. It was like it was like a race, but you like spun around the map to kind of get a bit of speed, and you could like look around and stuff. And you know, it was really cool to use. Like, I couldn't really get the full benefit of it because my right eye is really weak. So you know, I had like a really jumbled up vision. But you know, that's getting fixed now for glasses users, which is, they've been working on it for a while, and apparently they're nearly getting there, so it's probably going to be there for release, which is cool, which is great. But
that is good, to be fair.
Yeah, but you know, when I was using it, you do really lose a sense of which direction you're looking at. You know, because like, I thought I was looking head on at the computer screen, you know, while I had the thing on, and I took the thing off, and I was looking like the completely opposite direction. I was like, wow, okay. It is weird in that sense, because, you know, you're looking around and you like, your legs move as you're shuffling around to like look at stuff and everything.
Yeah,
that is a weird thing about it.
When I'm using mine on my iPhone, because my Mine's not like, obviously it's not the Oculus Rift.
No.
It's literally just you slot your iPhone into the top and then strap it on.
Yeah.
And you get a couple of apps. When I'm using mine, it's really great because I've got one where you're in outer space. And you just literally, you float in there and you can just turn around and look, and you've got the space station there and you can look at it. And it's really, really weird. You can really lose yourself.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. So there is a lot of potential there already. But yeah, it's one to watch, I think. I think you're right. It's one to watch.
Yeah, like, I don't know, it always felt like it was so long in the future, ever since it was announced. Even when I went to EGX this year and seeing the massive, 2-hour-long queues just to get 20 minutes of using the Oculus Rift, and even then it just be like, all right, this is not going to be coming out for years yet. It's still in development, still perfecting it, and it's coming out. And I'm looking forward to when it does come out, seeing people, talking about seeing some of the games on it.
I agree.
It's going to be something that in a few years' time, the majority of us are going to have.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah, but I think as of not on its own, not yet. I think we're still waiting for it to be a console.
Because that hasn't, come out, and it's still going to require, a PC to be operating it. But it's going to get to that point, where lesser, requirements on PC to the point where it's going to be, just an everyday laptop.
Where you can have it as almost like your own handheld console. So when you're on car journeys or something like that, strap it on.
For the they're for like the little party games on it.
Yeah.
But for the major, the more demanding games, you have to operate it through PC.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Which is, obviously understandable.
Yeah.
So should we get into the year ahead?
Yeah, let's look forward. Let's go to the future.
Let's have a look. So what we're going to be doing, I've shortlisted quite a few games. We're probably not going to do all of them, but we're going to talk about a few, just kind of for a couple of minutes. Talk about our excitement, what we're kind of looking at about it, whether we know a lot about it or not, and whatever. Just so you can kind of get a grip. And your most anticipated game may be featured on this list. More than likely it is.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned, yeah. First one, which I'm going to be guessing, we get a lot of questions about this game, and a lot of talking about it in the emails and a couple of comment sections, and I know
is
it's
it
a lot.
Cuphead?
No, it's Overwatch. A lot of people are excited for Overwatch, especially after its lengthy beta that it had in October to November.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Total Biscuit's been ranting about that game non-stop. Hasn't it?
Like a lot of YouTubers that featured Blizzard games have got in. There's been a lot of people in it, and they had a free beta weekend, which I wasn't in town to be able to play, but it looked really interesting to me. Like we talked a little bit about Overwatch, and we always get people asking us to talk about it more, so that's why I put it at number 1.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So what's your opinions on it? It's been a bit of a while since we last talked about it. Have you seen more on it?
I have. It looks actually really fun. I want to play it.
Yeah.
Is it a MOBA? I can't quite tell.
No, it's like a Team Fortress 2 style game. It's like an objective-based team FPS. Like it's not.
Right, I gotcha.
It's not like Call of Duty in the sense get the most kills to win or keep this flag the longest to win. It's like get this thing from one side of the map to the other. So there's going to be people in the match which are specifically aiming, to complete that objective. Like you'll pick a big beefy character to be able to push that barrel over to the other side.
Yeah, like the dwarf guy with the ponytail beard or something like that.
And you'll die a lot, but then you'll have some other guy character to control someone who's going to be able to jump around and defend your guys as best as can. And then some other guy who's on ground, setting bombs off, blowing stuff up. But one of the coolest things about it is it's kind of similar to Team Fortress 2 in that sense, but the difference is that you can change your character after every death.
Yeah, so you respawn in as a different guy.
No, you can do if you want to. Yeah, if you choose, or you can just stay as one character for the same out, which is cool in a way because you can kind of get a grip of the way the game is going, and it's being like, okay, this isn't the way for the fast jumping around character because I'm getting killed a lot.
Yeah.
And,
so I need this guy instead.
Yeah, this guy because this specific character's got a weakness. This guy's owning field, and he's got a specific weakness which this other character which I could use has got a strength for. So that way I've got the upper hand on him, I can get a few kills on him and then put the game in our favour. Which is the coolest thing about the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about teamwork and cooperation and working together then.
Yeah.
That sounds really fun, and I think it maybe departs a little bit from the formula of FPSs over the years.
Especially ones that have come out on console.
Yeah, absolutely. The Call of Duties, the Halos, the whatever.
Yeah.
There's no strategy involved there. People just run around shooting each other,
caring about how the kill-death ratio is. Whereas in this one, it's much more focused on.
There isn't one, is there? There's no kill-death ratio.
You could maybe argue that in this console that Battlefront tried to do this objective-based thing, but people just cared about how high the KD is.
It didn't telegraph it, did it? If they were trying to make an objective-based, teamwork-orientated game, the number of people on the team had to be smaller, and they had to telegraph it better. Really, what it devolved into was run around shooting people, like every other shooter that had come before it.
Yeah, you can't go. This map has an objective. This is the objective to expect people to do it, flawlessly, to put all 100% of the focus in it. And I know that the people playing this Overwatch game is people that have been playing multiple Blizzard games for many years and hire people up in the media and the lucky few. But there's been quite a few people playing it. But the people that are playing it are the more dedicated players. And obviously going to be focusing on that. But apparently when the mass went in, the beta weekend, a lot of people were focusing on the team aspect and getting them objectives done to win the game. And,
that's surprising, but because usually I would just associate people who go into it just for a base
blazing,
together. You'd just be expecting them to just run for it, wouldn't you?
But this is probably not something we could get a grip of until we play the game to see how well they do the team-based stuff. Where it's like maybe it's the fun part to do the team stuff, because that's kind of where all the players kind of get around. And a lot of the stuff that I've seen, there's a lot of oh shit moments. In did you see that there's a guy on the barrel and they're pushing it towards the end, and then you get 3, and then you get quick kills, and then all of you get behind the barrel and quickly pushing it over the end with a couple of seconds to go in the game. It's just massive comebacks, in the game, because with the the potential of being able to change character, it can change the tide of the game so much, and really makes you if you understand this game a lot, if you followed this game for a long time and are waiting just to be able to play it, you've got a massive advantage, because what characters do what, how to change the game with certain characters, who's got whose weaknesses, who's the best to fight this character. On day one, when you're playing all these noobs and everything, and all these players that don't really know much about the game, us too, we're going to be there for Prime if we get it on day one. We'll be hangers, what do we do? And then people are going to be, swinging, getting so many kills. Whereas, a month after, when everyone's kind of got a grip of the game, that's when I think the game's going to come to its fruition.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it'll become self-selecting as well, because very quickly the people who are just in it to go and get the highest KD ratio or whatever,
they're going to Dagora off. They'll
Dagora off fairly quickly. They'll go, oh, what a shit game, and just run off.
And to be honest, I honestly don't think they're going to be looking at this cartoony-based, team-based shooting thinking, this is the game for me.
No, they're going to be looking for the Call of Duties and that kind of thing. The only game I can think of that's tried to do that kind of strategy and teamwork-based game is Rainbow Six Siege, but that has not done as well as I was expecting. Actually,
I've heard a lot about it, to be honest. From people, but the ones that I'm hearing, where people focus on the team, is when people are playing it in groups together.
Yeah.
Whereas the pickup game is people just kind of running in and shooting people. I've heard it's a frustrating experience more than anything, but I've heard there's a lot there to do. If you've got a group of mates to play it with, it's great. But if you're on your own doing the pickup groups every week, every day, every time you're going on it, it's going to be frustrating.
Absolutely, because you can't talk to them. You don't. Yeah.
Unless you invite strangers to a party, but
Yeah, you can, but
Yeah, you don't want to.
Do you want to? Yeah. Yeah. So it's very dependent upon working together. Whereas I think with Overwatch, there will be room for being able to talk to one another, and that will make your game more impressive.
Yeah.
But very often, I think you'll be able to look at the way that the battle is kind of the playing out and know where you're needed most.
Yeah.
So you don't get attached to particular characters or particular styles, I don't think. I think you just learn to become proficient in all of them so that you know where you're needed.
Yeah, or proficient in a certain group of like 3 or 4 characters, just to know that you know how to use well, so that when you have to change, you've got that in the back. This isn't the game where you're going to be focusing on one character or one play style.
Definitely not.
And
Definitely
that's the stuff that's kind of got me interested in Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to add on Overwatch, or should we move on to the next game?
Let's move on to the next game.
Okay, so there's your Overwatch discussion, people. When some stuff comes out in the next year, we'll be featuring it, and obviously featuring it when it comes out in June. Yeah. So, Far Cry Primal, probably the first major release of next year, first ultimate AAA release.
Yeah, this comes out in February, doesn't it?
Yeah, end of February, early March, I believe it is. Is it March 7th? It's something like that.
I thought it was February 22nd, but maybe they put it back.
It could be that. Like, they haven't delayed it. It's coming out soon anyway, not long away. And, it's February 23rd, you're correct, I'm wrong again. But, yeah.
This is getting into a bad habit, Conor.
But, it's set 12,000 years BC. And, no, 10,000 BC, 12,000 years before the present. And
so this is basically the video game adaptation of the film 10,000 BC.
Yeah,
which sucked.
Yeah, but what's your opinions on it? What have there's been bits of gameplay released and stuff. People, Angry Joe had some stuff released of it, and everything that come out.
Yeah,
and go ahead.
Yeah, I like Far Cry. I do, and I've no doubt that they've got a good reason for putting this 10,000 BC, for putting this so far back. I just can't at the minute, even though I've seen gameplay, even though I've seen some of the features and that sort of thing, I can't picture a Far Cry without guns, and without vehicles, and without C4, and without grappling hooks, and without doing stupid, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I can't picture it. The game looks more akin to Skyrim than anything else, actually.
It does, but this just seems like a game where I'd get bored of after a while. Like, the lack of weapons, you've got spears, javelins, machetes and those, but at the end of the day, they're very similar weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the spear, the javelin, and the bow, they're all throwing weapons. And the machete, that's an up-close weapon, which you've always had in Far Cry.
Yeah. And the hunting, it would be cool for a while, to specifically aim for this animal to get the right meat, to get, to attract this animal, to get the right ingredient, to get the right stuff off of it. But I can just see myself getting bored of this after a few hours. Just a handful of hours. That's why I said to you, I think it'd be much better as an expandathon.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
As it outstay its welcome.
I would have pictured this as an expandathon, actually.
Yeah.
I would have thought that would be the perfect environment to test it. Smaller scale map, so the absence of vehicles is not noticeable. A lot less stuff going on, so that it doesn't kind of detract from the overall game. But it looks like this is going to be the full-blown real deal.
Yeah.
And I can't picture it. I just can't see it. I mean, maybe they probably will surprise us, but
yeah.
I don't know. With Far Cry 3 and 4 particularly, because those are the ones I've really played, and Far Cry Vengeance, but I've no idea what that was even about. Don't get me started. I played that on the Wii, actually, so maybe that's the problem. Although I think it was only available on the Wii. Never mind, I'm getting off track. But with Far Cry 3 and 4, part of the fun factor was trying out crazy shit with vehicles. Driving them off insane jumps and then stretching into a wingsuit, or parachuting, or attaching C4 to the front and driving it into something. Similar to Just Cause, but in first person.
Yeah.
And that's always been part of the fun of Far Cry for me, and I can't picture it without it.
Now, I said this to you when it came out. I would much prefer it if this game was kind of like a, they got a time machine. They found a time machine. They went back into the Stone Age, and they keep going back and forth to get these, massive weapons and blowing shit up and firing at mammoths. And
Yeah.
put some freaking dinosaurs in there. Why the hell not? Just go crazy with it.
Yeah.
I'll put one in space where it's like this epic, mental space shooting
Far
adventure.
Cry game in space would be fantastic.
And just have fun with it. Let's be honest. When you play a Far Cry game, you just go in there, you have fun, blowing stuff up, going from point to point, taking out strongholds, flying into stuff with elephants, battling some sharks and everything. Are you really taking the story seriously?
No.
No, you're not.
No. With Far Cry 3, yes, but no, not in the main.
No, I
don't really care.
Yeah, it's like you're playing to have fun, and that's what 99% of the casual players are doing. Look at GTA. Because Far Cry's a series.
I could not tell you one thing about the story in GTA.
Oh, I could.
I don't really know, and I don't really care.
No, I'm just I'm going to get to my point because the story of GTA, GTA 5, was freaking phenomenal.
Oh no, it was good. It was good. Don't get me wrong, but if I'm playing GTA, the first thing I'm going to go and do is do stupid, crazy stuff.
Yeah, that was the point I was going to make. The majority of casual players, which Far Cry, aims to, that's why they sell most of their copies. These people, just get in game, just have some fun, get with some friends, probably get into co-op, blow some stuff up, just have some fun with it, not try and play the proper game. That's the reason why games like Pillars of Eternity don't sell well, do they? Because they don't. No. Most of the time, they're just going in there to have fun in the limited amount of time. They're not going in there to experience the story. And I know a lot of people did play the GTA story and had a lot of fun with it. But when you talk to a lot of people, because a lot of the hardcore players don't play the game online. I hate categorizing people like that, hardcore and casual. But anyway, but it's kind of a way to differentiate. The players that play a lot of games over the course of a year. They kind of went in, played the main story, and left. Whereas, a lot of people are still playing. A lot of people are still playing the game today. A hell of a lot of people, and I don't see Far Cry Primal doing a thing for them. No. I don't see them going in. They'll sell a lot of copies amongst them, but I don't see them thinking, "Yeah, I want to get after playing this game after a hunt in a while." They're just going to jump off to the game that they know best. They'll probably just get bored of it.
Yeah, do you remember Assassin's Creed 3? Do you remember what happened when they introduced hunting?
Exactly.
As a main feature?
Christ,
that was boring. Christ, that was dull.
Could not be doing with it.
Oh, God.
Dull as hell. It's the reason why George stopped playing it.
Yeah, God. It was terrible, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. It was just awful.
It's like, bloody Indian stuff, then. It was just crap.
No. Assassin's Creed 4, it was alright there. Because it didn't really matter. You could just go around. You could there's a deer. Shoot it.
Yeah, and it didn't bloody force it down your throat either. 3 did.
You couldn't leave an area until you'd skinned it, could you?
No.
If you killed an animal.
Yeah,
and often you kill them with snares, so you never knew where they were.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't find the fuckers. It was you trace them up. Where's this damn rabbit? Where's the rabbit? Do I really need the skin? Is this gonna wee me? Is this gonna win me the fight? Let's get real. Come on.
Yeah.
And
the worst part was it wasn't easy to traverse either.
No.
So if you killed an animal in a really difficult to get area, it would take you upwards of an hour to get back there and skin the animal.
Yeah. Should we move on?
Let's move on. But one thing quickly.
Okay, go on.
Did I hear, or am I thinking of something else, that Far Cry Primal won't have co-op?
You've got that the other way, because I saw some co-op involved in one of the play events between two YouTubers.
I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, this one has co-op, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm done.
Yeah. So next one, let's talk about Mafia 3.
Okay.
It's coming out reportedly in April, because a lot of stores have benchmark it as April 26th.
Yeah.
Which is in the Take-Two are the parent company of 2K, and 2K are publishing this game, and they release saying this game is going to be coming out in the year 2016, but in the fiscal year 2017, and their fiscal year starts in April 1st. So,
right, okay.
So it could be any time after April 1st, from April 1st to December 31st is the release window, and a lot of stores, you know, GameSpot. GameStop, sorry, not GameSpot. GameStop.
I always get those two confused.
Yeah, CEX have registered it as an April 26th release date. In a store in Australia, you can actually buy a card for Mafia 3 to redeem the code saying coming out April 26th. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be April 26th, which is cool for me. Not long away, 3 months.
It's not that far, is it?
My most anticipated game of this year is this marriage of this Shadow Mode or Nemesis system, which I loved, and Mafia, which I love even more, together in this beautiful, beautiful clusterfuck, and I cannot wait. You know, it's going to be just to tie up the loose ends from Mafia 2. Even if it's a bad game, I'm going to play it all the way through just to see what they say about, you know, all the characters, just so I can find out.
Yeah.
You know, from the old Mafia games. But you know, I've got full faith in this game now. I've got full faith in the team, full faith in how it's going to turn out, because, you know, all the worries that I had from, you know, when I said to you after that first gameplay dropped, the cars blow up too easily, you know, it's ridiculous, you know, like, is it going to work in this kind of, you know, this Mafia setting, you know, deploying people in different areas and everything, and, you know, trying to take on the Mafia, is it going to work? But then they showed, you know, other new bits of gameplay, I saw new interviews, and there was like, the first thing they did was tone down, you know, the car explosions, and the main reason for that was because they just wanted to start off with, you know, they wanted to finish the demo off with a bang. And, and, you know, which, you know, I can respect. It got me a bit worried, I'm going to be honest with you. But, seeing the way they go with the story...
We're just playing with you.
Yeah, now that I know, and I've got full faith in you, just hearing the, you know, the passion in the voices, you know, when they're talking about the game, this kind of gets me a bit excited, because, you know, when you're hearing the people over at Ubisoft talk about the game, like, apart from the guy from For Honor, when you're hearing them talk about, you know, the next Assassin's Creed game, they're going like, we're not doing multiplayer because we want to make it the best single player game ever. Or even, do you know when when Uncharted 4 had an interview? And they put that young guy on, like, he was like a valley boy, and he was just like, yeah, you know, we have grenades that can move, what else, yeah. And I was like, cheers, I feel really excited about the game.
I am so hyped about Uncharted 4 now.
Yeah, whereas like you hear Hayden Blackman talk about the game, and he's stuttering over what he's speaking because he just wants to give so much information, but he can't. He's like trying to say it all at the same time, and I find it, you know, I'm pumped for it, and you're quite excited for it, I believe, as well.
Yeah. I'm excited. You're excited. I mean, it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty fun. And it's a game. Games are always good for me.
It's Mafia. It's Mafia.
It's Mafia, and I like New Orleans, and I like
the 60s.
That period in American history, and I like the fact that this guy is a Vietnam War vet. I always find that interesting character. Just specifically the Vietnam War.
Yeah, but like, it's going to get so much news about it when it comes out, you know, racism and stuff like that. Because those bits of it when they said, you know, when they was asked, you know, about this era, saying it's 68 New Orleans, are you going to be touching up on racism? And they're like, yeah, we're not holding back. We're going to be going for it. We're going to be, you know, using the words that were used in, you know, 1968 New Orleans. We're going to be doing the same themes, you know, we're going to be going for it, you know, to set our game in the correct setting. And there's like...
I mean, it's not going to be comfortable play.
It's not going to be comfortable, you know, but like, a game at the end of the day doesn't have to be comfortable, you know.
No, it doesn't, and if they want to make it factually accurate, that's their right.
Yeah.
You know, they have every right to do that.
It's like, one thing that Total Biscuit says, which I completely agree with, a game doesn't have to be fun, you know, in the sense that, you know, that everyone says. It has to be compelling. You know, like when in The Last of Us, you know, at the beginning, you know, when his daughter died, you're not having fun there, but you're into it. You know, you're having a great time. The majority of the time when people come away from The Last of Us, they wasn't saying, I had an incredibly fun time playing The Last of Us. They were like, I was really interested in the story. I was compelled.
Very meaningful.
Yeah, I was compelled by the game. And, you know, this could...
Well, the Telltale game is a good example of that.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, you're not having fun while you
take part in the story, yeah.
Yeah, you are compelled by the story to keep playing.
Yeah, and seeing these themes in Mafia 3 is not going to be something that's going to be exactly fun to witness, unless you're extremely racist.
Or a sadist.
Yeah, but, you know, it's going to be interesting to take part of, and, like, that's something, when they said that, I was just like, great on you. You're not holding back, and when there was asked about the controversy around it, and it was just been like, you know, we're making the game we want to make, you know, we're going to try and ignore that stuff, and I'm like, fair play, you know. Good on you for going for it, you know, because a lot of companies would have just been like, because, you know, games get the shit in this kind of area of being like, don't talk about stuff like that, don't make your game about this info, don't do stuff on this, stay away from this stuff. But, you know, they're going for it, and fair play to them.
Yeah, I agree.
Anything more to add?
Nope.
Yeah, so April 26th we're hoping for. I'm hoping to hear a release date soon, please. But I'm very excited for this game. Okay, next one, Deus Ex Mankind Divided.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've seen bits of this, mainly about the really poor pre-order scheme they had.
Yeah, that's a stupid idea.
Yeah.
You're pre-ordering the game so someone else can get an extra bonus.
Yeah, so like if everyone pre-orders the game and gets to this level, then you'll get it. It's a way to get everyone to go on forums and stuff and go, please pre-order the game so I can get this. Just like, yeah.
No one's going to do that. This is the internet. This
Yeah.
is the home of trolls. People
Yeah.
are going to go, sure, I'll pre-order it for you.
It's like in World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, there was the silky, strider, this like rainbow horse, which was the very first thing you could buy, from a cash shop in WoW. And whenever you saw someone buying it, they'd just get abused to shit. Like, everyone would just be like, you fucking retard, man, the horse. And it's like that with this, everyone's just been like, if you pre-order it, they've gone back on it, thank God. But, I think this game looks interesting. I do like the style of, it's going back to its roots of Deus Ex 1, of, not telling you everything the game has to offer. There being some stuff, if you go away against the certain path, you're going to have different things happen to your character, which I think is cool. Because, a lot of games now are very much like, do this the way we're telling you to.
They're very spoon-fed, aren't they?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool, you can do it the way it's telling you to, or you can do it some completely different way. Like, you could sneak around and try and get the guy, or you can just completely shoot everyone and get him. And I heard some good stuff, from the playtest at E3.
Yeah.
If people being like...
It's supposed to be quite good, isn't it?
Yeah, if everyone was failing at it because they were just, going around shooting everyone. I think this was Jesse Cox again, to be honest. And he was like, everyone was going, shooting everyone, and then got the guy at the end, and the guy was like, no, I'm not going with you. You're a freaking maniac, killing everyone. You didn't have to. And then Jesse Cox went in and was like, oh, okay, this is Deus Ex, I'm sneaking around. He sneaked around, got him out, and then the guy would go with him, and then he completed it, and did the level correctly. And everyone was going up to him and was like, how the hell did you do it? How did you do it? And he was like, this is Deus Ex, you dickheads. But, stuff like that I do find kind of cool. It's like, even if you get to the goal, if you didn't do it the right way, or do it in a different way, it's not going to be done the way you was expecting it to be done, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, so, but one question though.
Okay.
And this is really the only thing I understand about Deus Ex. Are you playing as a guy called Adam Jensen? Is that right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Do you think he asked for this?
Probably not.
Just out of interest.
He's probably just there like, whatever.
You don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
No. Like, are you on about the from the last game?
Yeah, I didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
Just everyone taking the piss out of the fence.
Yeah.
Never mind, that fell flat.
Have you ever seen the dialogue though from the Deus Ex from the last Deus Ex game?
Roughly, yeah.
He's like, he's just like, we have to take out the fort. We have to go to them and attack them. We are under threat. Every character talk like this because this is a really interesting part of the game, and you have to listen to them.
It's not very good voice acting, is it?
For that last one, it wasn't. No, but yeah. Should we go to the next game? Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know a huge amount about Deus Ex Mankind Divided.
Me neither. I have been meaning to get Human Revolution though, but I haven't got the space for it on my hard drive at the minute. I need to do some deleting.
Yeah. So, should we go into No Man's Sky?
Do we have to?
Go to No Man's Sky. Hell, you put this on your freaking most anticipated list.
I did, but I completely forgot about every other game that's coming out this year.
Like, could this game be great? Yes. Do I think this game will be great? Hell no. I think it's going to be extremely dull. I think, yes, it's got this massive world, but what is there to do in it? It's going to be... Yeah. To me, it looks empty. We don't really know much about it. Of what we know is that you're going around mining, and every time I ask people, what do you do in this game? They're like, you go around exploring mines. And I'm like, is that honestly enough for you? Because, let's be honest, George. George, I'm sorry, Nathan, I apologise. I apologise.
You should apologise.
I apologise from the bottom of my heart.
I am one more snub away from walking away from this podcast. Conor.
Yeah, I apologise.
You're on thin ice.
I apologise. From the, from the grand majority of open world games, What is the most little of your time spent doing? Going around, exploring and mining. This is what the game's about. And I know, you know, some games do it perfect, you know, like, you know, the Fallout and Elder Scrolls series, but the thing that they're, you know, divided on is a really interesting world, and this isn't going to have that because of how big it is. And
well, it's procedurally generated, isn't it?
It is, yeah, like, there's 15 quintillion planets, something like that. It's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. And
that is a lot of planets.
And, you know, people have the wrong ideas at this game, you know, going in there with a guild and things like that and doing stuff with them. This game is trying to force people away from each other. You know,
yeah, that is not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. You know, get that idea out your head right now as we speak. You know, that is not going to happen. You can trade with people. There is a global auction house, which could be cool, I suppose. That kind of idea could be interesting, you know, to be able to play the market. You know, go around, go trying to find the specific ingredients and play in the market. That could be fun to play in. But for the grand majority of people are not interested in that stuff. Are not interested in playing the market. Are not interested in general economics of, you know, the system. But, you know, we could be drastically wrong at the end of the day.
We could be. But from what we've seen, or from what I've seen anyway, this looks like nothing more than a glorified tech demo.
Yeah, exactly.
This just looks like people getting into ships and flying around and not really doing anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than flying around.
Yeah. And
I can play lots of other games that let me fly around.
And just look
in
around,
much nicer places.
Yeah, it's like... The way that this game could do it for me is like a good old-fashioned cool-down game. You know, when you're done for the day, and you've got like half an hour left. You just want to relax, pop this on, pop a podcast in, or pop some music in, or something like that, and just fly around for a bit. Yeah, pop our podcasting while you're listening. Play it for 2.5 hours, or probably 3 hours of the way we've been going recently, or a glorious 4.5 hours, which our last podcast was. And
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, because we talked for 2.5 hours about games.
Of course.
And then we talked 2 hours about stuff. So but this one, we had a year roundup. We had a lot to talk about. But
you should be thankful we just managed it in 4.5 hours.
Hey,
I mean, we could have gone on forever.
It was the GnM Awards. Awards, Yeah, but do I hope it succeeds? Of course I do. I never hope for a game to fail. Never. I really hope it comes off. I really hope it works, because if this comes off, this could be, it could be magnificent.
Could be a game changer.
It could be a game changer, but I'm going to be honest, I see Star Citizen, and I see, Star Citizen is obviously a much, much smaller world.
Yeah.
Than No Man's Sky. Hell, every other game is in the world, but I think that, I look at that and I see, there's general quests, there's general grouping up with your friends, there's general going into planets and stuff happening. There's general differences on the planets, because the planets of what I've seen is like, this is the sandy biome, this is the red and white biome, this is the jungle biome. There's no general differences in the planets, which could be accepted because you're going to be seeing that many planets, which is okay. But
it's like, oh my god, a blue dinosaur.
Yeah.
And you fly over to the next planet. Oh my god, it's a pink dinosaur that looks exactly the same, but don't worry, they're completely different species.
Yeah, and like the idea of evolution on a planet is kind of cool. Being able to see stuff change if you go back a few days later. That's kind of interesting, but it's just, we're skeptical about it. I think that's the right way to put it. We're skeptical.
I was interested in what you said though about it being a cooldown game. To be fair, I don't think this will be my kind of cooldown game, because typically my cooldown games are a lot more violent.
Okay,
there's a lot more stuff to do.
Okay, you've got some psychological issues, Nathan.
Okay. No, I'm thinking. All right, that came off wrong, but I'm thinking like Injustice. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes it's like a quick fighting game. Like I'm gonna be honest, my cooldown game at the minute has been Rocket League for the past few months.
Yeah.
That's the game I play when I finish. But could it be this? Could this take over it? Maybe. We'll see.
I don't know. Can I break people's backs in No Man's Sky? If I can do that with Bane, if I can snap people's backs over my leg.
To be fair, though, you can shoot dinosaurs in the face and go on police chases.
Oh yeah.
That is the kind of, but like, that's kind of a cool thing. Maybe.
Yeah, I suppose. Maybe.
And maybe the odd time you do see a player, you can't go in a shit battle with them. But like, the stuff that you're doing you're not really doing it for a reason. You're just doing it kind of for the hell of it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's kind of what we're seeing at like hell, they could be this. You know, they do say the goal is to get to the center of the universe, so they could be this quest line that they're not advertising. They could be, you know, but it's just of what we've seen so far, we're skeptical.
Absolutely, yeah, skeptical.
Skeptical's the perfect word. Next game.
I think so, yeah.
Next game. Shall we go into the next game? You got anything more to add?
Nope, nothing more.
Uncharted 4. We talked a bit about this last week, so we'll kind of keep it brief. I thought this will be the time where I talk about what I played of Uncharted 1.
Yeah, bring it on, because I've not actually heard what you think of it.
Okay, I'm on the 12th chapter. I believe there's 22 in the first game, if I remember correctly.
Christ, that's a lot.
Yeah, there's 22, and my god, this game's great. This game is damn good. It's so freaking fun. You know, I know what happens because I've seen playthroughs of all of them, but, you know, finding that, you know, just, I don't know, even though the mechanics at times are poor, you know, the conveniently placed barrel to explode, you know, and stuff like that, but just the scenes of madness, like the scene, you know, I don't know if you've seen playthroughs, but there's the scene in the car when you're escaping from a fortress.
Yeah, I've seen it.
My god, that was so fun to play through. I was just playing through that, you know, it's exploding cars, you know, going through the jungle, seeing it in the distance. I'm just like, God, I'm just having such a great time playing this. And like,
yeah, I had the same thing just watching it when they did, like, you know, the one in Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
The car thing. You know, when it ended up with a motorbike chase as well. God.
Yeah.
Just watching that was just amazing.
It's so fun, you know, like, and yeah, you can maybe put an argument for the character, you know, for the girl. Just being like, you know, from the first level when you give her a gun, it's like, oh, you put it shoot like a camera, right? And then the next level, she's like, boom, boom, Spec Ops, bitch.
Yeah, double tapping.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
It's like doing backflips and shooting and stuff. But it's just like, even the jet ski scenes, you know, going from like, you know, jet skiing around, shooting people in the, you know, in their posts and then going to the next point, you know, finding Sully and things like, I'm just having so much fun playing it. I'm like, I will say though that I can't have really long sessions with it. I'm not. This isn't the game, you know, like Shadow of Mordor.
Where you play.
Or Batman Arkham Knight. I'd play Batman Arkham Knight. I'd play it for 6 hours at a time. This one, after about an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm like, okay, I'm done for a while, and then I'll come back and have some, you know, the same amount of fun with it.
I think that might be to do with age slightly.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, maybe that won't be an issue with the next two. But with this one I've heard is the worst remaster because, you know, there has been, you know, I think what has driven me off it a few times is, you know, when you're doing a little climbing puzzle part, and then you're meant to make a jump and you've, like, just missed it because the game's kind of, like, bugged out a little and you fall to your death and you go back to the beginning. Then I'm just like, okay, let's just leave it for now before I get a bit frustrated. Yeah. But, you know, I'm having an absolute blast with it. You know, I'm going to play it as soon as we're finished here. You know, and, you know, there's so much wealth of content to this trilogy. You know, the first one was much bigger than I thought it was. Like, the first one I thought was like about 6 to 8 hours, but I've been playing it for around about 12, and I'm about halfway through. So
wow,
yeah, there's more than I thought. So, you know, I'm very, you know, this all this is doing is getting me more excited for Uncharted 4.
Yeah,
you know, that could be, you know, a game that I get, you know, very soon after release, just to know what happens. I need to know what happens to Drake. I'm kind of invested in the character. I'm invested in Sully. I'm invested in Elena and Chloe.
They're such easy characters to like, aren't they?
They're
just
yeah.
Great
it's
characters.
Like, I don't know how they do it so well because, you know, like, liking a character, writing a character that's likable may sound easy, but it's one of the hardest things to do.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
And like, you know, it's just Drake. At the end of the day, is, you know, if you think about it on the whole, is a murderous psychopath.
Yeah, he's psychopathic.
But he's just so funny and so, you know, lovable.
Yeah.
And I just want to know what happens. You know, Sully, do you know the relationship between him and Sully?
It's great, isn't it?
I was all about it from the very first take on the belt. When he's like, you gotta cut or lose, I want to get my goal, I'm in debt to a lot of people. I'm just like, I'm in. You know, I'm in. You know, and like, not many games can do that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And you know, I can see why they're saying they're not going to do they say this Uncharted is probably the last one they'll do of the series, even if it's not like, you know, Nathan Drake's last adventure or whatever, you know, because how do you top that? How do you top Nathan Drake? He and all of them have this fantastic kind of setup, you know. He's a charmer, he's a fighter, he's a comedian, but he also has this darker side, and he's a fantastically crafted character. Yeah. And I think, frankly, across the board, the entire game is fantastically voice acted.
It is. You know,
it is a great kind of cinematic experience.
Yeah.
You know, you could get in anyone off the street, I think, with Uncharted, get them sitting down to play this game, and they could all just go, "Yeah, I love this.
Yeah,
this is fantastic. I've never
can-
played a game before, but this is brilliant."
Yeah, I can advocate for that. Like, I've got one of my best mates come around, you know, on New Year's Day because he was bored at home, and I was just playing it, and I was just like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm playing this game called Uncharted," and like he hasn't played games since he was like 12, 13, and he was just like, "Hey, let us have a go," and he was having a blast playing it. He was like, "This is like a film, you know, like it's that much
really
fun."
is.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like. It's like, this is, you know, better than 9 out of 10 films I've seen recently, and like you could tell it was old, you know, just looking at the floor, for instance. You know, the texture quality isn't great, but like some of the stuff, you know, like climbing the side of the fortress. Like, I love climbing in this game. You know, even though it's hopping from, you know, brick to brick.
Yeah, it's
but
floaty, isn't it?
It's hopping from brick to brick, but, you know, just, you know, looking. And I know it's clear to do, but I don't know. It's just got some fun part about it. You know, some satisfying feel of, you know, making it look like you're just making the jump.
Yeah,
It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun to play. Next one, Mirror's Edge.
Mirror's Edge.
You're kind of a little bit excited. You put this in your anticipated list, I remember correctly.
I did. It was a kind of impromptu kind of thing.
I don't know much about this, so go ahead.
I don't either, but I am very excited for it. I have played the first Mirror's Edge. I liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun, but I thought there was a lot of stuff that was missing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for example, the gunplay was really poor.
Yeah.
Just really poor. And to the point where you wonder why they put it in there in the first place. It felt like... There was a way, the style, it just felt unfinished.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, all the buildings were white, except for the area you'd have to jump off, which was red.
Yeah.
You know, and so you'd know you had to go
Yeah,
down.
that was the same. I had a phone game. There was a phone Mirror's Edge game.
Yeah.
Where it was like a, you know, you jump, do you know when it's like running automatically, and if it hits something, it changes direction, and you just got to press it to jump? It was one of them, and when it was red, you know, that was when you jump.
Yeah.
So that's maybe something from that.
Yeah, that was it. It was really hand-holdy. That was the problem. It was just hand-holdy, and I don't enjoy very often, really at all. I don't enjoy when instead of actual cinematics, they have animations. You know, like like a cartoon kind of like a. I don't know, like a puppet show or animated still picture slideshows with voiceovers. You know, I don't like that kind of style.
Yeah.
But it was a fun game.
Oh,
know?
yeah.
It was a fun game, and it was interesting. It was kind of a kind of, you know, a forerunner to Dying Light, which is a game I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it had those free running mechanics, but Dying Light almost perfected them. In a sense,
Yeah, they did it in a great job, you know, in the first person and everything.
Yeah, brought them into a format that really worked. So I'm looking forward to kind of Dying Light, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, which is not a sequel, it's a reboot. Actually, it's basically a do-over. They're going, okay, we're going to take what we liked, which is Faith, the protagonist. We're going to take her. We're going to get rid of the bits we didn't like I think gunplay. Then they're not doing guns in this one, except, you know, enemies obviously have guns, but you don't use them.
Yeah, which is probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, so it's fist fighting, that sort of thing. They're also, I think, adding textures now, which is great, and colours to the environment, and I think it's open world as well.
Is it?
I think so, yeah. Whereas I keep saying Dying Light, Mirror's Edge, the first Mirror's Edge was pretty linear, actually. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it, actually, because I just like those kind of games. I like platformers. I like you know, wall running, scaling, climbing sort of games. I find them really fun, you know. And I particularly like it when they do them in first person. I really enjoy that. You know, it's actually getting kind of off topic. You know, I hated Darksiders 1.
Yeah.
Right?
Darksiders 1, yeah. I remember you talking about it.
Yeah, hate its guts. Darksiders 2, I'm actually quite enjoying.
Do you?
Yeah, because it's got That was the dog. It's got free running in it, and it's more a platform. It's more of a platformer than a hack and slash, and that is just wall running up stuff and across and climbing, and it's just fun. It's just fun, and I enjoy. That's why I'm looking forward to Mirror's Edge.
Yeah.
Kethless, So there we go.
Cool. So
that's it. Anything to add?
Nope. I know literally nothing about. That's the first of it. That's all I know about it, to be honest with you. But anyway, let's go into let's kind of kick on a bit. Let's speed up.
Yeah.
So we can get into the questions. Quantum Break looks all right.
Looks all right. Yeah.
Doesn't look really anything groundbreaking to me. I don't get how so many people are so hyped for it. Like I think it's just Xbox users just it's the real exclusive for them to look for. Yeah.
But no. To be fair, it's an interesting idea that they've got two sides of the story, one in the game and one in the TV series.
It is.
That's an interesting idea.
It just looks a bit boring to me.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Dishonored 2?
Yeah, really excited for that. Played Dishonored 1, love it.
I'm going to be playing it when I get my new computer. This is going to be the first game I play.
Oh, excellent.
Because I've already got it on my Steam library, thinking that my computer will be good enough to run it. It is, 8 frames a second. Yeah, so, I'm going to be... that's going to be the first game I play, because I really want to play Dishonored. And, I think the female character having two kind of different playthroughs is interesting.
Emily, I think.
Is the new woman, yeah.
Is it Emily?
Yeah, it is, yeah, got it correct.
Yeah, because I keep forgetting her name. Obviously, she was the princess you were protecting in the first game, but with Corvo. But I'll be playing as Corvo more than, I think, Emily. I'm interested to play as her, but I like Corvo.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't say anything, but I like him.
Yeah. I'm just, I just like the the idea of, just kind of flying around the map, killing people. It's just, it just seems like a very fun ordeal, and I'm looking forward to playing it.
Well, you don't have to kill people. That's the thing.
Don't have to, but yeah, you do.
You'll actually...
You do for my enjoyment, Nathan.
And this, everybody, is why Connor's version of Dishonored will be psychopathic.
Yeah.
See, if you do go around killing people for your enjoyment, and I'm quoting directly there, then you will end up fucking up the entire game.
We'll see.
Honestly, it will look like a disaster zone.
Nathan, let's not worry about it, mate. Let's not worry about it.
But are you sure, Connor?
Let's not worry about
disaster?
Let's not worry about it, mate.
Okay.
Let's go with it. Let's not worry about it.
Okay.
Next game.
I
swear this game's come out about 10 times, by now. The Division.
Oh, Christ almighty. To quote Total Biscuit, if this game was delayed anymore and downgraded anymore, like each time we see a demo, it'd be 8-bit by the time it comes out.
Like, the first time, it was like this Snowdrop engine, like, if a freaking can touches a can, it'll make a mark, and shit like that, and it's like real life, but better. And then, and then now it's just like, they've kind of, it looks a bit crappy to me.
Yeah.
Like, graphically, at points it looks cool, like, the vistas looks cool, but, I don't know, it just looks a little bit low res. Maybe they just thought, like, yeah, we can't get it as good as we wanted it to be. Yeah, but I've lost all hype for this game because it's been so long in the coming.
Way too long. I mean, when was it first announced?
2011.
Christ!
11,
2011.
11, 12. That was when it was first announced.
I didn't hear about it until 2013.
It was announced, and then it took like a couple of. I think it was 11, yeah, and then it was like a couple of years of hearing nothing about it.
Yeah.
It's been in development a long ass time.
Yeah, but then I heard people mentioning it, so I knew it had been out before. But yeah, God.
Yeah.
God.
A long time.
Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Nah.
Dinosaur, mechanical. Shoot him in the glowy place.
Might be interesting, I suppose.
But it's made by Guerrilla Games, and they're boring.
Yeah.
Last Guardian.
Nah.
I'm going to be honest. I had that exact same reaction, when I first saw it at E3.
Yeah.
I rewatched that gameplay because, it was number 2 on my top 10 gaming surprises list.
Yep.
And I did think it kind of looked kind of cool, to be honest.
Yes, I guess so, but...
It's like, I think what they showed was literally a fragment of what the game is.
Yeah, I'd be more interested, I think, if I saw more and knew what it was about.
Yeah.
All I heard was gameplay drowned out by people going, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, there's people just being like, "Oh my god, it exists, it's real!" And then Final Fantasy VII was like, "Oh!" And then they heard when they heard the music for Shane, and then you hear the music for Shane through, and they're just like, "What a time to be alive!"
This is literally heaven.
Yeah, it was cool. Sony press conference at E3 this year was cool. I was so glad I stayed up to watch it. I was just like, should I go to sleep? Should I stay up? And just seeing people just freak out was just enjoyment. But yeah, like last game, I think it could be cool. I can't wait to see some of the monster types. You know, seeing that dog, pigeon, cat, rat thing. You know, I just can't wait to see some massive, crazy stuff. And it could be interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing some more stuff.
Yeah.
Should we get to the last two?
Yes.
Street Fighter 5.
Nah.
No interest. Not a fighting game fan.
Nope.
Yep. And the last one is Doom.
Whoa. Doom's the last one.
Doom's
what about Mass Effect Andromeda?
Well, I didn't put that. Is that fully confirmed about...
Yeah, that'll be 2017.
Yeah, that's why I left it out. That's why I was going to put it in, but then I thought, if it's not fully confirmed for 2016, then it's not going to go in.
You could have at least told me that you weren't putting it in.
Well, I apologise, Nathan, mate, but, you know... Yeah. Doom.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to talking about this in the future. But anyway.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think because I think it's a game we're both interested in.
We're interested in. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that will be my kind of cool down game.
This is a cool down game.
Yeah, no, because think about it. Gameplay looks so arcadey.
Yeah.
It's unreal, and the violence is levels of stupidity. Yeah. I mean, like, it's just stuff that doesn't need to be in there, and the game knows what it's about right from the start. Just gory and just messed up and just violent as shit, right? So you know that's what you're getting when you go into it. So when it says find the access key for this door, it's a handprint scanner. So you go and rip off a guy's arm and put it on the scanner. Yeah, that sort of thing. That's going to be my kind of cooldown game.
Should I tell you what I've learned from this podcast?
That I'm a bit of a psychopath.
That we have very different cooldown games. My cooldown game is just like a nice way, just, you know, to cool down. You know?
Cool down?
Yeah, so like, just to kind of calm down a bit, you know, like, lose the adrenaline. You know, let's have like a little bit of laid-back fun before, you know, you go to bed or you go do whatever. Yours is just like, no, I need to kill. I need to get
so angry.
I need to murder.
This is where I let out all my hulkishness. Like, ordinarily I'm nerdy Bruce Banner.
I just imagine,
but when it comes to video games, I become the Hulk.
No, but I just imagine listening to it and then just putting, like, I don't know, like a Sex Pistols or Teen Idols record at full volume and being like...
Death metal. Oh.
Anyway.
Oh, that's just making me smile thinking about killing things.
Should we get in...
Yes, I think we should do that. I think we should move on to questions.
Let's get to the community segment before we get kicked off iTunes. Okay, so... just want to thank you again, Mark P, for your donation. Very much appreciated going back into the channel. It's going to be getting a new mic for myself. It's all going towards that. All donations go back into the channel. If you want to donate, to the links for the Patreon are in the description below. What else is there? 5-star reviews. Okay. From Europe, we have Gorkan B, Lisa Q, and Margaret A. From Asia, I apologise if I butcher your name, but it starts with an X, so you can't expect the most from me. Shang Hong B? I apologise if I butchered your name, but you know, my accent in the best. And Mustafa Q. And also from Australia we have another Margaret, a Margaret L. And then from America we just have the one, we have Martha Q. So thank you for your 5-star reviews. And yeah, please give them to them. We'll give you a shout out on the podcast. Give us to them on iTunes. The reason we appreciate them so much is because it gives us up in the search rankings, and you know, it gives us, you know, a bit higher, you know, and a bit more to do. And I want to thank... I didn't mention this to you, Nathan. I forgot to mention this to you. but you're going to hear about this for the first time. I want to give a huge thank you out to everyone listening at Podomatic.com, as we was featured in the top 100 podcasts on Podomatic.com last week after our podcast hit. So so thanks a lot for that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Our peak was the number 86, so we kind of got in there.
It's not too bad.
Yep, so
14 others suck worse than we do.
Yeah, so, well, a lot more than that. There's like 8,000 podcasts upload to Podomatic.com every week. So
wow, that's great.
We was in the top 100, so that was kind of great to kind of have. And we was, I think we was like the 35th gaming podcast, and
nice.
I think it was like 22nd movies. So yeah. So we did kind of well.
Yeah, moving up in the world.
We were a long way off everyone else. The Jimquisition podcast is reigning king on there because they upload their, Jim Sterling's podcast.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. That is our goal. We're coming for you, Jim. but yeah,
Get ready for war.
Yeah. So thanks to everyone over there for listening, and for Podomatic.com, which is it was our second worst, viewer base. Worst being YouTube for podcast views. We're not uploading the podcast to YouTube anymore because.
Okay. I did wonder.
Yeah, because it kind of dropped down, from like 30 views to about 9, and I was just like, then 9 people can just watch it you can just listen to it on iTunes or Podomatic.com, where you can listen to us. I'll say that now. And I'll say it again at the end. You can listen to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, Podomatic.com, all at the profile of DagoraC, or just search GnM. And if you're on a Nokia phone, or a phone that doesn't have Android or Apple, you can download this thing called FeedBurner, and then you can go onto Podomatic.com and get our RSS feed off that and get automatically updated whenever and we upload a new podcast. If you don't like Stitcher Radio, you can do that as well for your Android as well, and also any other podcast copying application out there you can use as well. And I believe that's everything to go through before we go into the questions.
Let's go to questions then.
Okay, so I'll give you the first one because I said his name last time. He's a friend of the podcast, top man,
Crikenfall. You talked about a test podcast, The Elder Scrolls.
Yep.
A few episodes ago. Any developments on that? Shatner for the win.
Yeah, I want to say this quickly. TES. T-E-S. The Elder Scrolls. I get questions, after we did when we talked about TES that time.
Yeah.
We're just like, because we kept on saying TES. And I was like, did we? And then I went back and listened to it, and to be fair, we did say it like every 30 seconds. And they were like, what does TES mean? I was like, T-E-S, The Elder
Scrolls.
Yes. And
honestly, that doesn't take a size 9 hat.
No, he's like, that's right. Well done, Nathan. Insult our fan base.
Shit.
Yeah.
You're one to talk. What is it? Giving temp bans to people who don't put Shatner for the win.
It's been a while since then. The main reason is because we get a lot of questions, and I just, the way I filter through of what are questions, what are emails from partnership, because I get about 3 emails a day from networks going, join our network, and I'm like, no, and I just search Shatner, and then it just comes up with all the questions. So yeah, it's actually really important to send your questions with Shatner for the win at the end.
It's really useful if you put Shatner for the win.
Yeah.
I thought we were just joking. Yeah. Apparently,
we were joking to start off with. Now it's a priority. You have to do it. Yeah. So Anyway, the Elder Scrolls podcast. We haven't really talked about it since then, but it's something that we're going to do once you get back from India.
Yeah, I think once there's more Elder Scrolls kind of to talk about.
Yeah, well, the way it's going to be doing is George's not going to be on it. It's going to be me and you. It's going to be uploaded to YouTube with, a border, a bit of Skyrim and Oblivion gameplay in the background. Yep. And the way we're going to be talking about it is, talking about, the Elder Scrolls 6 rumours. Mm-hmm. Talk about what we want in the Elder Scrolls 6. Mm-hmm. Talk about stuff that we played in the Elder Scrolls games, in the week before or whatever, or what we've heard about it, or reminiscing about old times in the Elder Scrolls. It'd just be something, because do you know when we talked about it?
Yeah.
We have no news on the Elder Scrolls, and
No,
we have
talking about it 'cause we
literally
loved
jack. We was clutching at stores that week for news, and there was like an Elder Scrolls 6 room, and I just thought, let's talk about the Elder Scrolls. We talked about half an hour, and we could do that any time. So
Absolutely. We could have talked for longer, I think, if we hadn't needed to stop.
To be honest, if you were staying, I'd start it now. Just I think it would go down well, but when you get back, there's going to be a bit more news around about it. And then we'll be able to do it every week then. It's going to be on a different day than the GnM podcast, obviously. It's going to go on YouTube, but it's still going to go on, the iTunes and everything like that. It's going to be on a different... probably going to still be on the same profile of DagoraC, but on obviously a different name.
Yeah.
There's 5 months away yet, so don't, be expecting it to be coming out next week. But it's just going to be me and Nathan on it. George will not be appearing on that. The main reason being is because, George, he likes the Elder Scrolls games, but... it's kind of our thing, isn't it? We're really big fans of the series.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, George is kind of...
He's into it, don't get us wrong.
Yeah, he's into it, definitely. I mean, he got me into it as well as you.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know, I think it's because, we've played so many hours into it. We've had playthroughs of more than one test game.
Yeah.
And,
Let me put it this way. George's kind of declaration that he was the biggest Star Wars fan of the two of us.
We got a lot of questions. We got a lot of comments about that, by the way. Just being he's just like, I kind of like how Nathan put George in his place with the Star Wars fan. Yeah, we got a lot of comments about that, and I was expecting a lot to come in, and it was funny. I was reading a few of them. I was telling a few to George, and he's just like, "Fuck you."
Well, come on, I had to set him straight. I mean. But anyway, if he says he's the biggest Star Wars fan, and if he were then to say he's the biggest Elder Scrolls fan of the two of us, that would tell you, I think, kind of...
yes, he probably played the series before you did.
Mm-hmm. He did.
But you've kind of gone on to new strengths. Like, he played Oblivion for all of half an hour. He gave Morrowind a go, but that was for a series on YouTube, not really for his own enjoyment.
Yeah, and for that hilarious, which I still haven't seen, that hilarious.
I'm gonna find it and unlist it and send it to you, because he goes what does he say? He's he did autosave it. It's 3 or 4 episodes in, and at the end of and he just he's going around, he gets killed by a little rat, loses all his stuff, all his progress, and everything starts at the beginning. When he starts at the beginning, he just ends the episode with, "Oh shit!"
Oh, that's fantastic.
It was beautiful. Well, yeah, I'm very excited to do a test podcast.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely, me too.
Don't know what to call it. I don't know. We'll think of something, but it's gonna have a border and stuff we're talking about in there, and Skyrim gameplay and Oblivion gameplay, more Oblivion gameplay. We're going to avoid the ESO stuff. We're going to avoid ESO, Daggerfall and Oblivion. We just stick to the Holy Trinity here.
The Holy Trinity. That's blasphemy. Yeah. Oh wait, no, this is Elder Scrolls. No, it's not. What am I talking about?
Arena and Daggerfall, went down, as great games. Arena was the very first game which used, your mouse to look around.
Yeah.
Which is revolutionary. But they're just so old to look at. I can't even look at them sometimes. I get a headache.
Sometimes they just make me so mad.
It's just a headache. Watching it, but I'm very much looking forward to doing it. But don't expect it to be coming out, soon. It's going to be June, July time when it comes out.
Yeah, definitely.
So, next question is from Brian P. He says, Nathan and Conor, pal, you can chime in on this. What's so great about Marvel films? Shout out for the win.
Oh.
I've got a point to make. But,
go for it.
All right.
Yeah, pull me out of the fire, because when I'm asked what's so great about a Marvel film, I don't actually know. I just love them.
There's I mean? I love them, but I think it's the humour, it's the general, superhero vibe, being in the big fight and saving the world at the end of the day. It's just general nerdiness, which is why we kind of enjoy them, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I am going to say is, I get, we talked about this a lot, of why I'm excited about Batman v Superman and why you're excited about Marvel films, a lot more. And the point I want to make is the reason why I was talking about this is why I'm like not really enthused by Captain America the Civil War trailer, and I'm like kind of a bit more on the edge about Suicide Squad and Batman vs Superman, is because Marvel films are very, very similar.
Yeah, they are very formulaic.
You know what to expect. It's like Civil War. I know I'm going to watch that. I know I'm going to get some enjoy. I know I'm going to enjoy it, and I'll come out. Whereas with Batman Superman, there's that layer of not knowing what to expect. We don't know how they're going to go about it. Yes, we've seen glimpses, and some of it's been a bit disappointing. But I loved the way Man of Steel went about it because it was different to Marvel, and that it was a way that I really enjoyed. Kind of unpopular opinion, but I loved Man of Steel, and I think that's kind of what's kind of set me in a way of thinking like, yes, I'm a bit more excited on this. Not really thinking because I think it's going to be better, but at the point because I think at the point where I'm thinking there's something about this which I don't know how it's going to be, how different it's going to be. My voice broke there. I'm embarrassed. Yeah.
That happens to me all the time.
Yeah. But I think the way that he's asking this question is like, he likes superhero films, but what's so great about them? And it's just that we enjoy them. It's just that when I make a point about them, is like, it's just that I know what to expect when I go in with Marvel. Yeah. The films are kind of the same, and I know that I was talking to George about this, and he's had a bit of a disillusion of Marvel now. Like he was
because of Age of Ultron.
I think so, because I think then you come to the conclusion that they're all a bit similar, and like he says that he's not excited for Civil War. He says, but this time last year would have been all about it.
Yeah. See, for me, I think yes, they are similar in that they're all superhero films, but within that, there's quite a lot of little differences.
That's the thing, though. Little differences that there's not enough for me to set themselves apart.
Yeah, but to be honest, I don't mind the fact that they're not really set apart. I quite like going in knowing what I'm getting. Knowing that what I'm going to get is dependable.
Yeah.
So I'm more interested in interesting characters, where they come from, where they're going, knowing their comic book history, and knowing how diverse and how varied it is, and thinking about all the potential. I mean, just yesterday, actually, I read Planet Hulk all the way through, all of the series, right? And Conor, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. But and basically the story of Planet Hulk is a group of superheroes, Mr. Fantastic and Iron Man, particularly, who I now hate with a raging, burning passion, and I want the Hulk to tear limb from limb. By the way. They decide the Hulk is too dangerous, and so they get him on a spaceship and warp him across the galaxy. He lands on this unfamiliar planet. He then helps to free the planet from this tyrannical emperor and becomes king himself and rules this planet, Sakaar. And in the end, it's tragic because he has a wife, he has an unborn child, and the Hulk by this point is a bit more mature and can speak and form thoughts and that sort of thing.
Kind of like he is in the films. Yeah,
kind of. But kind of more developed.
Okay.
Because the way the Hulk works is, in the earlier stuff, he's like a child and he grows up as a personality. So now the Hulk is kind of like an impetuous teenager, kind of. Maybe older, 18, 19 years old in Hulk years, I suppose. But, he shows a surprising amount of wisdom, and it's tragic ending because he's happy. He's finally found his place, and the ship he was sent on destabilizes and blows up, basically, and levels this city. His wife turns to dust in his hands, Obviously his child is killed as well. He's lost everything yet again. The planet is, destabilizing. And you can truly understand why he is now on his way back to Earth to kill the Illuminati, who are the group that got together to ship him off. And, enslave humanity. You can completely understand why he's going to do it. In fact, I want him to do it. And it's that sort of thing that I find interesting about Marvel films. Yes, the stories are pretty generic, except for odd gems that tend to catch you by surprise, like Winter Soldier, I think, and more so Guardians of the Galaxy. They are pretty generic, but I'm not watching them for great stories so much as I'm watching them for great characters and how the story will change that character. So when I'm looking at Civil War, I'm looking at Captain America, who we've seen over the course of this trilogy, I suppose. Obviously Captain America, Winter Soldier, and now this one. We're seeing him grow from a quite naive, trusting kind of individual to one who says, I don't trust government, I don't trust people in authority, I'm the boss of me, no one else.
Yeah.
And we're going to see how that conflicts with actually some of his ideals and some of the ideals that Iron Man upholds. And actually we're going to actually begin to question whether this, holier than thou prick, Captain America, as much as I like him, could he actually be wrong in this case? Could he be on the wrong side of the dividing line? Is it possible, that actually, although he's the title character, could it just be he's in the wrong? Does he need to take a step back? And I find that really interesting, and that's why I watch Marvel films. That's it right there.
Okay.
They're not the most inspiring thing. That is true, but right there, that's it.
Yep. Cool. Not as inspiring as Rocky, anyway.
Definitely not as inspiring as Rocky.
Nothing is as inspiring as Rocky.
Adrian!
Oh, what a film!
Drago!
What a set of films! Like when he's running up the mountain, he's like, and he gets to the top. Drago! Yeah. Right. So next question.
This is from Martha Q. Hey guys, really enjoyed your Star Wars discussion on the last podcast. Damn right you did. I enjoyed that Star Wars discussion.
Even I enjoyed it, and I don't even like Star Wars too much.
Yeah. You touched on this, but what is your thoughts on the concept of the Force? And as a Star Wars fan, it is weird to say this, but Shatner for the win. Shatner for the motherfucking win. Come on,
how
Martha.
fucking dare you? I know you gave us a 5-star review. I take back my thanks.
Yeah.
I take that back.
Honestly. Oh god. No, but seriously, it's a good question.
It is.
What did you? Are we talking in? What do you think? You set the rules. Are we talking in the film or just in general?
We'll say.
Like in Force Awakens.
Oh, should we do the film first, and then we'll talk about it in general? Because to be honest, my kind of opinions are kind of similar throughout.
Yeah.
In a way.
Okay. You go first then.
It's like the way I see it is just a way to kind of get out of stuff. It's like this stuff.
It's the get out of jail free card.
Yeah, it's something that I don't think really anyone. Well, I don't think people really fully understand what it is.
No.
To be honest, like I don't know the way I'm going to compare this to something like I compared it like I did on last week's. I'm going to compare it to the magic in Harry Potter, because it's in a way it's a similar kind of idea.
Yeah.
And like magic, for the first couple of films, everyone was just like, or the first couple of books, everyone was just like, okay, it's still this, other end thing. But by the end, we knew the limits. We understood what it was about. We understood, how far it could go with magic, how people can get more powerful and things like that. And yes, there's still other things, that surprise us, but we generally had an understanding about it. Whereas with the Force, I don't know, at one point it's used, to stop stuff, and then the next minute it's used to mind read, and then the next minute it's just used, you can feel it, and then the next minute it goes away, and it's like, what is it?
Yeah, I can completely understand what you're saying, but I do like that in a sense, because I think that adds a sense of mystery. That adds a sense of kind of wonder. I
do agree, but there's times when I'm watching Star Wars and I'm thinking, are you just kind of using it as it's the easy way to kind of get out? Like, is this just a way to kind of press, oh shit, right, we don't know what to do? The Force!
Yeah, but they made a joke out of that, to be fair, in the film, didn't they? They said, Finn said, don't worry, Han, we'll use the Force. And Han just goes, that's not how the Force works.
Yes, yeah.
The fact is, we don't know how the Force works, actually. And I kind of like that. I like the fact that we really don't know what it is. They don't know what it is. They don't know how it works. They just think they can use it to a certain degree. And that does add a sense of mystery. I mean, I've talked about the inheritance cycle before, the books by Christopher Paolini, which are probably some of my favourite books I've ever read. They're just fantastic, and I would recommend them to anyone. Great fantasy adventure, But the way he writes magic in that, magic has very certain, very specific rules. You can use spells for this much, but if you use too much, but spells depend on your energy. If you use too much of your energy, it will kill you. It's just that simple. Spells cannot be used to do this, and that's great. And okay, you know where you stand. You know what magic can and can't do. That's fine. But that does detract slightly from this mysterious thing. From this, well, what is it used for? How was it created? Where did it come from? It's certain questions, and the Force, I think, is designed to be mysterious in the Star Wars series because it's designed to kind of go, there is a lot in this universe that we don't understand. There is a lot about it that's good, but there's a lot about it that can be used for evil too. There's a lot about it, for example, that can be used to electrocute people with jazz hands. And I find it interesting.
Yeah.
But in the film, I would say you're right. I think it was used to get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
Because they went from going, that's not how the Force works, to Rey just all of a sudden going, use the Force, closing her eyes, and then bossing Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
How did that happen? I don't understand. And it was a very abstract, too abstract, I would say, in a sense, concept. That's just my thoughts on it. But
I'm thinking maybe I'm being a little bit hypocritical here.
What is that?
It's like, like something in Lord of the Rings, the ring.
Yeah.
I know you can I've read stuff. I've read 13 Tolkien books now, so and that all of them touch on the ring's powers and what it can do. So I know how it's got so powerful, why it's so powerful, what it can do and everything. But whereas in the films, it's this is the ring, be scared, kind of thing, which is kind of what. And to be honest, it's even like that in the Lord of the Rings books. It's this is just the ring. It's massive power. This is the reason why.
Because if you just read the Lord of the Rings books and you just watch the films, all you get is the Ring of Power can turn you invisible, but also for some reason it can move around. And for some reason it has a will of its own, and for some reason Sauron can see it, whereas he can't in the Hobbit books. But he can't in the Hobbit book, I should say, Hobbit films. But now all of a sudden he can in the Tolkien, Lord of the Rings films and the Lord of the Rings books, and that is very abstract. That's
because I can answer that last question. Why how he can see it in the Lord of the Rings and not the Hobbit? Because I do
kind of know that. That's because he's returned to full strength, hasn't he?
Not full strength, but he's got a lot stronger. He's able to, kind of, if he wanted to, he could take shape. He takes the symbol of an eye. In the films, he kind of is the eye, isn't he? Yeah, which isn't in the books. The eyes is kind of symbol.
Yeah.
And they built this huge eye, so yeah.
But to be fair, I think Tolkien can get away with that, can't he? Because he can
it's explained. It's still explained in the books.
Yeah, it is explained. But he can afford to give the ring that kind of mystical sense, because his books are very much of kind of two planes. They're the physical, they're what you see, and then there's also the deeper spiritual meanings, the spiritual kind of aspect to it that I think he wrote in. Because I think I was watching, obviously, the making of Shadow of Mordor, and he said, didn't he, as Tolkien said, you can't have a world without mystery. Fantasy needs mystery. You can't have a fantasy world without mystery itself. So, I think he can get away with that, and there is a kind of philosophical element to a lot of the Lord of the Rings. I think a lot of argument. But with Star Wars, can you really argue there's a philosophical element there? I mean, I know they tried in the prequel series. They really tried. I mean, thank you, Liam Neeson. I know my focus determines the reality. What the fuck does that mean? You know? But no, Star Wars is not philosophical beyond some guys on the census putting that their religion is Jedi Knight.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. The Force, it's abstract. It's supposed to be all
strange.
around us, penetrates us, it binds us all together.
And then it goes away and comes back again.
Yeah, and the Force awakens. You know. But basically, when you hear the word Force, it's just designed to think of people doing crazy shit and going, "The Force guided us."
Yeah.
You know, and that's part of the fun of it, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
That's the first
that embraces your inner child. So, you know, don't be afraid of the Force. Let it in.
Yeah. There's weird stuff in Tolkien.
What was I? Oh yeah, I was going to say I'm going to challenge George if he was on today, but he's not. I was going to ask him if he'd heard the rumor. I don't think you'll get it, but the rumor that Supreme Leader Snoke
that's Gwendolyn Christie's character, isn't it? Yeah.
No. That's Captain Phasma.
Oh, okay, right.
Who was like the Boba Fett of The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Everybody loved her, but she did jack shit and went down like a pussy.
Snoke. Oh, this dude.
Snoke, the Andy Serkis's character.
Yeah.
There is a rumour going around that he is Darth Plagueis. You don't know who Darth Plagueis is, do you?
No.
No,
which one's
good.
Because
that means you haven't watched the prequel trilogy.
I have watched the prequels, but I haven't watched them in a long time.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Darth Plagueis.
They mention him very briefly. Darth Plagueis. The Emperor Palpatine used the kind of the name Darth
that
Plagueis.
dude! I know you're on about.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that was loud.
Sorry.
Yeah, he basically said Darth Plagueis could bring people back to life. You know, bring people back from the dead, people he cared about. And then he waxed into some kind of suspiciously, you know, Jesus Christ-like state where he was betrayed by one of his disciples. And Darth Sidious actually said he could save others from death, but not himself.
Okay.
Which, you know, any Christian would know is what they said to Jesus on the cross. So that's kind of interesting right there. But if he was, that would be really cool. I was gonna test George and see if he knew who Darth Plagueis was. But then we could see who the real Star Wars fan was. Who's the biggest Star Wars fan?
I'd have to set up a quiz. Like, I just feel like asking him that. Whoever gets the most points wins.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I'm only kidding. I'm not like taking him seriously.
No.
You know, I'm just. You know. But yeah, so there we go. That's the Force. That went on longer than expected. Sorry about that.
I haven't seen the prequels in a long time.
Stay the fuck away.
Yeah, like I watched the the original 3 before, like about a couple of months ago. Again, and that was the first time I saw him since I was like 12.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, yeah, they're alright. It's kind of like I had the same opinion as I had before. But then, go on.
Sorry, I was going to say, you should definitely watch the Clone Wars TV series, because that's fantastic.
We'll see.
That is really great.
I've got some other TV shows that's on me list before that.
No, obviously don't prioritise that above anything else, but the Clone Wars TV series is the only thing good to come out of the prequel trilogy. It's great.
It's a cartoon. I remember it coming like out when I was a kid on Cartoon Network. Yeah.
It is animated.
Okay,
there was
animated
a Clone Wars cartoon, but
because I think that's the one I remember. Because there's a cartoon I remember a couple of people talking about it at school, and I was thinking, oh, Star Wars.
Yeah, the animated series. They made a film of it first of all, which didn't get very good reviews, but I thought was fantastic. And then they made the TV series, which was 6 seasons long and just brilliant, superb. You know, that was it was really, really good. I would recommend it to any Star Wars fan actually. If the animation is what's putting you off, then you have to push past that because it's a great TV series. It really is. You know. Anyway, there we go. Sorry.
Okay, so
should we go
to the next question?
Yes.
I've got to say that there's weirder stuff in Middle Earth than there is about the One Ring. I don't even get me freaking started about the Silmarils and all that shit.
Oh yeah.
Jesus, freaking trees. There's like have you ever seen CGP Gray's video on the Lord of the Rings mythology?
No, I haven't. No.
He's on about like the Silmarils, and it was like because they come from trees and people worship the trees. He was like, don't ask me why. It's weird. Okay, Gorkin B. Do you ever think that gaming will completely go over to VR? Shatner for the win. No.
No.
I'm going to go out and go no.
I don't think so either. I think
it's
VR is too dependent upon
a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think it'll be very successful. I think it's the future of gaming in a way. I think it's going to get to the stage when, you know, you get it with a console. You know, I think it's going to get to that point in the future. Not for a while yet, but I think it will get to that point. And it's going to be a lot of games made for it. But I still think that there's still going to be a lot of games, you know, where you can just sit on a couch and play. Or like I don't see, for instance, MMOs going over to VR. I just don't see it.
No, I now that you mention it, I can't picture an MMO VR.
Is that FPS?
No, God, that'd be terrible.
Like a first-person game, I can see. In the end, I can see an Elder Scrolls game being VR. In the far future, I can see it being possible. You know, being able to wear the Oculus Rift while you're exploring, looking around. I see that as the ultimate, you know, immersion to have. You know, while walking around Tamriel. Do I ever see a drawn-back dungeon crawler being VR? No, I don't. Why? Because it's third person. It'd be weird. I don't see any third-person game being VR. Personally.
No, I can't either, because the whole point of VR is to immerse yourself.
Yeah.
So you're kind of immersing yourself looking at someone else.
Yeah.
Doesn't really fit the VR theme, does it?
No. And no. I honestly believe that, you know, it's going to be extremely popular, like we've touched on already. But, you know, going all completely over to VR is diminishing a lot of genres, like RTSs. That's impossible to do VR. Like, how are you going to do that? Like, I honestly cannot see how you could do StarCraft 2 as a VR game.
No.
Like, no. You're diminishing a lot of genres to go completely over to VR. And to honest,
VR is a very niche kind of thing, isn't it?
I don't want that to happen. I don't want it to go completely over to VR. I want VR to be there and be a big thing. Obviously, I want it to be very popular, very successful. You know, very accommodable for a lot of people, but I just don't want it to completely take over, because it'll just, in one way, it's going to ruin a side of gaming.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of potential to expand genres. I mean, could you imagine, like, for example, a first-person football game? Like, you know, that could work.
It could work, yeah, because like, there's that already.
First-person racing game.
Yeah, well, that racing game, that's when it's going to work best. To be honest with you, like,
absolutely. So there's a lot of potential for it to, I think, add to pre-existing genres, but not to, you know, dwarf them or take them over or make their own, I don't think.
No. Okay, so let's go into the last question. I gave it to you because we got him before, and we had a good laugh when you tried to say his name, and it made me howl.
Parejo.
No, the first time you said you went,
Parejo?
He was like, no, the first time you went proper full on Hispanic, like, beautifully said, like, Parejo? And then I was just like, just Parejo. Anyway.
Okay, I'm gonna do it full on Hispanic.
Go on.
Ready? Parejo. 4324.
4324.
I'm not going to try that in a Hispanic accent.
4324, yeah.
No, this is a good question. How important is a soundtrack in movies and in games? Shatner for the win. No, just put Shatner the win.
Shatner the win.
We know what
you meant. The soundtrack in the movies and the games, you know, the Shatner for the win. Yeah.
Connor, don't be insensitive.
Let's have a laugh. Mate, says, you know.
All right.
These Hispanics, you know, I can see that he's from South America, so he's not actually Hispanic. I apologise. So
maybe he just likes the word.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not the same guy he was before.
Yeah.
Maybe it's some other guy who likes hearing me say
Parejo. That's a good damn name. Okay, how important is the soundtrack in movie and games? It's one thing for me that's, you know, very, very, very important. Much more important now than what it was 5 years ago. And the reason being is because, you know, it's something you can notice more when it's not there.
Yep.
Like, you try to play Skyrim without the soundtrack, without the music on, it just feels kind of empty. It doesn't feel eerie or anything.
It definitely detracts something from it.
Yeah, and I don't know, like soundtracks is something that I think feel nostalgia more than anything.
Yeah.
Like when I play,
I mean, there are some that stand up on their own. I mean, the Man of Steel soundtrack.
Kick ass.
Not the world's best film, but God, it's probably one of the world's best soundtracks.
Oh, yeah,
it's kick ass, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, God.
Superhero films in general have good soundtracks.
Yeah, they do. Captain America, Winter Soldier had a great one.
The Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh, fantastic.
I do think my favourite though was Guardians of the Galaxy. I know it's not like a big band orchestra, but I don't know, it's like ooga chaka, ooga ooga ooga. I got this feeling deep inside of me. What a song!
Yeah. No, it's It's. I think they're great for adding to atmosphere. That's the thing. I think they're really, really great for building on something.
Atmosphere
like you
and nostalgia.
You mentioned the Skyrim kind of soundtrack. For me, it extends even further. Like Crash Bandicoot, for example.
Yeah.
The soundtrack to Crash Team Racing, which was one of my favourite games ever when I was a kid. Loved it, still do. Got it on my PSP. But yeah, every time I hear that, I smile.
Yeah.
Because it evokes lots of memories for me. It evokes, it just reminds me of a lot of really fun times I had when I was playing it. And I think that's why soundtracks are important, because not only do they add something to the film when you're in it, but when you're outside of it, you remember it. There is a nostalgia.
Yeah.
There. You're right. Absolutely right. Nostalgia is a big draw to soundtracks. But similarly, if it's a bad soundtrack, it just doesn't work. Like The Matrix, for example.
Yeah.
The Matrix had a really bad soundtrack, I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one was all right, but when you got into, it might just be because I hated, what was it, Reloaded and Revolution?
I think The Matrix is just a freaking mental film. It's like, the fuck's happening? Yeah.
The first one's all right, but the other two are a complete clusterfuck.
Yeah.
Are completely, utterly stupid.
Should I tell you what soundtrack I honestly feels was extremely underrated?
Yeah.
The last Harry Potter film. I thought that soundtrack was kind of kick-ass. You know that first scene, with the Dementors around Hogwarts?
Yes, I do get what you mean. It did add to atmosphere, but for me, it was just too much of the same. It was like it was the same thing over and over and over again for the past.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think they've each got the distinct themes. Like, people don't talk about them as much because they're not as, I don't know. They don't focus on music as much as something like, for instance, Lord of the Rings does. Like, Lord of the Rings has sections devoted specifically to the music. Harry Potter doesn't have that. Harry Potter is just there in the background, or maybe you get the main theme at the beginning.
Yeah.
But
everybody recognises it, don't they?
Yeah, but like, I don't know, like that third one, like not the third one, the final one. When I was, I actually rewatched the film, just before Christmas, because we had like a little cousin, and like he watched Harry Potter for the first time, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch the last one with you, because I like the last one, and I like all of them, to be honest with you. And I was just like listening to it, I was watching it, I was like, so what is this soundtrack? Isn't as bad, isn't like anywhere near as bad as I originally thought it was. Like, I thought that the soundtrack was like just kind of a bit flat, didn't really have anything to it. But I was listening to it, and I was like, to be fair, this isn't bad. Like, it's nowhere near as good as like something like Man of Steel or Lord of the Rings. Because I honestly think Lord of the Rings is the best soundtrack, probably in anything.
Oh God, yeah, it's fantastic. But again, it's partially because it reminds me of all the really awesome Lord of the Rings moments, and there are so many.
It doesn't not. Plus, like, even the Hobbit soundtrack was freaking kick-ass.
Oh, great! It was beautiful.
The new music as well. Like from Lake Town was great. The actual main theme was like. It was like bow 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 bow. It was great.
He's still going with that part. I thought you were going to give me a full rendition. I was like, wow.
Full 3-hour soundtrack. You say it's like I'm still waiting. I got to go like 5 hours. You just hear me just going ba ba ba. It's like ba 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 ba.
I'll be back in 20 minutes.
But like the Hobbit, like that's the way, the very first thing, even when they show the badges of the film companies making it, of like showing Warner Brothers, and you just hear Dear Frodo, the soundtrack, and you're just like, yes,
Yeah.
It's back.
Yeah. Oh,
At
yeah,
last.
yeah. The Shire music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I tell you what, though, there have been actually times where a soundtrack for me has made a film or a game better.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, bad example, I know, prequel trilogy of Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Terrible films across the board. Even the third one was bad, although people say it's all right. I maintain that's only because the other two were diabolical, right? But the opening shots of Star Wars Episode 3 are fantastic because you have the classic Star Wars music, but with a twist. Because it starts off with this kind of like drumming, just like over and over again, and then this opens on this epic space battle, and I'm like, yes, I'm fucking here. And then the film degenerates, and then when you come out, you think, God, that was terrible, but I still remember that opening from Episode 3, and I thought, fantastic, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Worst films I've ever seen, but also best opening to a film I've ever seen.
I don't know. Have you ever seen movie 43?
No.
You'll go against. I've seen some pretty bad films.
No. And the other one I was going to say was Dragon Age. I thought Dragon Age I hate Dragon Age. Mainly from a gameplay perspective.
Maybe because it's so boring as a series.
Yeah, God, so boring. No direction. No one knows where that game is going. What the fuck is the point in the game? Anyway.
The lore is so freaking lackluster.
It's so derivative of like everything.
Yeah, it's like
everything.
It's like people say, the Elder Scrolls world is generic. On the face of it, I completely agree. But then when you start playing the game and start getting into the lore and hearing some of the stories, you realise, it's its own entity.
Yeah.
The way they treat dragons is completely different.
Yeah. I maintain it's only generic because everyone else has copied it.
Yeah,
since.
exactly.
It's like Lord of the Rings. People say, "Oh, that's such cheesy fantasy."
It's because it's the fucking first one.
Yeah, everyone copied it.
Yeah.
I think it's the same with Elder Scrolls, but with Dragon Age, it's shameless.
Yeah.
It's shameless copying.
It's like when I'd hear friends from college, Luca and Michael talk about Dragon Age and the lore and everything about these meetings, and I'm just like. And I was like, Luca would go to me and go, don't you think this sounds cool? And I was like, no. And it was
been done.
Yeah, and I was like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, I've heard it in everything ever. It's like, I can watch an episode of Merlin and get everything that I've seen from this in that episode.
Yeah. It was the same, to be fair, with Mass Effect. I mean, Mass Effect does not have very original lore.
Yeah, but it's got the way you tell me, it's got an interesting story, the main story to go off.
It really has. It's got a very interesting main story, and also within that kind of generic kind of lore, they've also done their own thing.
Yeah.
So I don't mind so much, but with Dragon Age, it really is quite generic. But I digress because the soundtrack I thought was brilliant.
Yeah.
Particularly first and the third. Wasn't that struck on the second, but the first and third were brilliant. So that did heighten my enjoyment with the game. I put the music up full and lowered all the other options, the sound options.
You closed the game off and just went on 9gag all day and just went, I had a good session of Dragon Age today.
Yeah, that was it. So it pushed me through the game. It pushed me to the point where I could just about make it all the way through. So I did do that.
Yeah. Can you remember can I just bring this up quickly? Can you remember that one time when we was in history?
Yeah.
Luca was on thinking, he was on about lore of Dragon Age, and was like, and that's one thing at the Elder Scrolls games, that the lore of it doesn't quite stand up to Dragon Age. And we just turned to him, it was just like, just sit down.
My jaw dropped.
Yeah, we was completely disagree. You're wrong. Yeah. You couldn't be more wrong. Yeah, you could try, but you would not be successful. But
right, we're running out of time. Aren't we?
Yeah, we talked enough about that. So let's go into movies quickly. Yeah. Luckily, we haven't got much to talk about. Let's quickly say this, but Jurassic World was the biggest selling film of 2015.
Yep.
It was.
It wouldn't have been had they not released Star Wars when they did.
No, it wouldn't. Star Wars is obviously going to overtake it. Yeah. This morning I woke up seeing that Star Wars overtaken the Avatar for the biggest selling film in America.
It's done it now, hasn't
it? Avatar in America, not in the world.
Right. Okay.
So, I'll just get the full numbers up at the moment, top selling movies of all time, because this updates every 10 minutes. These figures, and I'll just quickly tell you. Number 1 at the minute is Avatar.
Yeah,
with 2
worldwide.
Bloody hell! Wow! Bloody hell! Star Wars has got quite a bit to go. $2.7 billion worldwide. Titanic is second with $2.2 billion. Jurassic World is third with $1.6 billion. And Star Wars is fourth with 1.55, just pipping over the Avengers with 1.51. So Star Wars has got 1.2 billion to go.
It's got quite a bit to go, hasn't it?
It's got quite a long way to go, yeah. So,
but I reckon they'll have closed that gap within a week. I think something like
1.2
something crazy.
Like, it's all 1.5 billion so far.
Yeah,
like that's almost double of what they've got at the minute.
Yeah, it's been open 2 weeks, hasn't it? And it's going to be there for quite a while.
It's been about 4 now.
Has it?
Yeah.
No, it can't have been
3.
4.
Sorry, 3. It's been open 3 weeks.
And it's going to be open for at least another month, I would have said. I think it's going to be in cinemas for at least another month. Because people will want to milk it.
But at the same time, everyone, in them first week, every screen was sold out,
Yeah.
Everyone to see them in that first week, and what you're getting now is people watching it for a second time.
Yeah, we went to see it, didn't we?
Yeah.
When we went to see it, the second week, it was just as packed.
Yeah, it was packed. Yeah,
we struggled for seats, didn't we?
Yeah, it was packed. I think, I'm going to be honest. Before I check these numbers, I thought it would take it, but I think it's going to be tight. Personally, I think it's going to be tight.
It was tighter than I gave it credit for.
Yeah, it's gonna be Jurassic World, no, hands down. It's gonna be Titanic.
Yeah,
but I
don't get the hype with Jurassic World. I don't get why everyone loved it. I hated it.
I can be honest, I enjoyed it. Like, I come away from it thinking, like, yeah, it was fun. It was a good film. It wasn't something to go like, I hate it. It's like, it's no Terminator Genesis.
God, that was terrible.
Like,
that film was just terrible.
But like, I'm just looking at some of the. Should I read you the top 10 quickly?
Yeah.
10 Iron Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
9 Frozen.
Yeah.
8 Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Yep.
7 Age of Ultron.
Yep.
6 Fast and Furious 7. 5 Paul Walker milking Death Tribute.
Yeah. That's the only reason that did so well.
5 The Avengers. 4 Star Wars, and then what I've said above.
The other 3. Yeah, we've heard the other 3.
Yeah, but like, it's going to be interesting to see where it is. Pirates of the Caribbean sold a lot. Like,
it did.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's not just one. It's like all of them. Like all the Hobbits are in the top 20.
Yeah.
All that, but all the Harry Potters are in the top 100. Spider-Man 3 is number 38. Shrek sold well, which is not surprising.
Yeah, Shrek was great, though.
Yeah, it is great, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it just is.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about, but it's just so fun. Guess what's number 100? It's a surprise.
Man of Steel?
The Passion of the Christ.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Passion of the Christ. Have you ever seen it?
It is a really good film.
Oh, it's a great film.
Yeah.
It's soul-destroying, though, isn't it?
No, yeah, it goes on a bit, but yeah, it's a really good film.
I mean, not just that, but it's brutal to watch. I mean, I can only watch it once.
Yeah.
I could only do it once.
I've seen it twice. I saw it once at home with my dad, but like just after it came out as a young kid.
Yeah.
And I saw it. I think I saw it like in school. We was allowed to watch it in school because it was a Catholic school. And we got permission to watch it, and we watched it. And like we was all just kind of pumped to watch a film. We was like we didn't care.
Yeah, I saw it last year for the first time at Easter.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
Have you ever seen Exodus? The one film come out last year.
I've got it on DVD. Actually, we're going to watch it this weekend. I think me and my family.
I'll give you a warning. You'll be watching it.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning, you'll be thinking this is kind of good. The last few scenes kind of kill it. It's a bit ridiculous. I think you'll hate it. To be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
I think you'll hate it. I think you'll like Christian Bale, but I think you'll hate everything else about it.
Why will I hate it?
I don't know. It kind of like messes up a bit of the story of the Bible.
Right. I see.
And like the last scene is a bit kind of ridiculous. The battle scenes are cool. I think you'll appreciate it as an action film.
Yeah,
but
it is. I'm right in thinking this is the book of Exodus, isn't it? They're taking this from.
It is. Yeah, and like it's kind of like it Ridley Scott's it, to be honest. Like it gets the whole the Bible story and like kind of makes it more of like a war film.
Yeah.
And But then,
Which it really was. I mean, let's be honest, the original kind of...
It was, yeah,
how
like...
they did it. God, it's brutal.
The battles are epic, but, like... I don't want to spoil the last scene, but you're going to be watching it, thinking, okay, sure.
No, you told me... I think you told me God is a baby. Is that right? Or God is a kid? God is a child?
He's like a 6-year-old kid, yeah.
Does it have something to do with a burning bush? Or like, getting the Ten Commandments?
There is a burning bush in there, but, like... It's a bit different than that, like, than what you'd expect. It kind of, like, hallucinates it. Like, I won't spoil anything else in it, but, like, the Ten Commandments are featured.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But, like,
featuring all your favourite moments.
Yeah, for all
the burning bush, the Ten Commandments.
For all of 30 seconds. Yeah, that's what it's in there. So, okay, next up, Daredevil Season 2.
Yep, Daredevil Season 2 announced for March 25th, I believe.
Yep.
Coincidentally, and I think this was just pure accident, it comes out on the same day that Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman 2 comes out. I completely butchered the name there, but yeah.
We've butchered a few names today. Like,
God,
I'm not fully here. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. You know, like,
my head is still in bed.
But like, yeah, it was like, I just, you know, we butchered names today. We butchered names.
We have.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, so that's that. You should still watch Daredevil, obviously.
Yeah.
When you get the chance. It's a great series. I've been watching Arrow though recently. Very derivative of Arrow. So if you like Arrow, you'll like this. Unless you don't appreciate the fact that basically they took Arrow and made him Daredevil.
Yeah.
You know, that's your prerogative. But yeah, I'm excited for season 2. I want to see more of the Kingpin. It was Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin.
Cool.
Fantastic performance.
Yep.
But yeah. So that's it. That's all I'm going to say.
Can I ask you a question about the soundtrack thing?
Yes.
What did you think of Episode 7 Star Wars?
I really liked it. Really liked it.
I really liked the main theme, you know, that they kept repeating.
Yeah.
I just wish there was a bit more difference, you know, like a couple
variation,
a couple more
nice.
themes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, give Han Solo a theme.
Yeah,
something like
that would have been really good. There was one in particular that I thought, and I think I will always love that theme. I can't remember what it's called or anything. Just purely for the scene where the TIE fighters, the X-wings of the Resistance, come flying over the water, and there's that sea spray going up, and the soundtrack just starts blaring. And I thought that was brilliant, and I will always remember that theme now.
Yeah.
And that was the only one I could really pinpoint as being quite different.
But like it was general like repetition of the same theme throughout, but it was a good theme. Don't get us wrong.
Yeah, absolutely good theme. Yeah.
Last thing to talk about before we end off. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has a new trailer, and apparently it's gone down really well with like the fans.
That's the sound of me smashing my head against the wall, by the way.
Apparently it's gone down pretty well. Like apparently it's got some like famous people from the animated show. I never watched TNMT.
The mutated like pig and the bounty hunter guys.
Yeah, Rhino or whatever it is. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, I do like a good bit of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I like the new animated series that's coming out. That's so good. Love it. So good. And I like the 2009 film, which I think had Lawrence Fishburne in it.
Okay.
And Patrick Stewart. Oh my God, Patrick Stewart was in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Was he?
Yeah.
Christ, how much would he got paid for that?
I have no idea, but he is a serious Shakespearean actor.
Yeah.
So, so I like those. Would not touch a Michael Bay rendition of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with a 10-foot fucking pole.
I remember in English, there's a guy, and like, I don't know, he's not a nerdy person at all. He's not really into this stuff, but he liked Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a kid, so he went to watch it. And then he used to come back, and it was just like, I was like, you went to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, didn't you? I was like, yeah. And I was like, what do you think about it? And I was like, it was one of the worst things ever.
It was just basically what Michael Bay does. He takes childhoods from the 1980s and ruins them.
Yep.
By adding in pointless explosions.
That first Transformers movie though was pretty good.
Oh, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. Don't get me wrong, I love it. Still watch it. It's fantastic. Everyone after that is terrible. He's just been confirmed as the director for Transformers 5. How are they on Transformers 5?
Because they make a shit ton of money.
Yeah,
in Asia.
they really do.
Absolute ton of money.
They really do.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I mean, you saw in Transformers 4, they were really going for the Asian market. I mean, they actually put the whole thing in Beijing, didn't they?
I never watched. It.
I went to see it with Luca. It was dreadful. The worst film.
He likes Transformers, doesn't he?
He loves it. Yeah. To be fair, it's pretty interesting. I mean, the G1 stuff is pretty interesting. I mean, more for the real world kind of controversy that it caused, not the TV series. But yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. They should make one about the Volkswagen emission drama.
and there is
that one leaves off more, like the Volkswagen ones leave off more smoke now.
That's how they can tell they're Decepticons.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. I'm not excited for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
I couldn't care less, but you know, there's no movie news, so
no, that's it then. I think.
Yeah, so we've got 2 podcasts left with you, I believe.
Yes, that sounds about right. Yeah.
So like
savor these moments, people.
Savor these moments to this back in June.
Yeah.
We'll miss him greatly.
Yeah.
So,
oh shucks.
So, thanks for watching. Again, I'll repeat, if you want to email us a question, email us and finish it off with Shatner for the win. It's kind of necessary. It's kind of required.
Well, yeah, you've heard him.
Yeah.
We need you to do it.
We kind of need you to do it. But, yeah, also, if you want to listen to us on Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Podomatic.com. Also, use Feedburner if you've got a Nokia phone to download it straight onto there.
Who has a Nokia phone, by the way? Get an upgrade.
There 3-4 people, but yeah. Also, if you are a oh god, you lost my train of thought. If you've got Twitter, which most people do,
yeah, there you go.
Follow us at DagoraC. If you want to donate to either the lore videos or to the podcast itself, the Patreon link is in the description below. I believe that's kind of everything.
Yeah,
I believe it is. So,
that's an exhaustive list.
Yeah, so, any final thoughts, Nathan? We're on everything. It's like, before we started the podcast, we were just like, what you want? YouTube.
The internet?
Twitter. Now we're like, SoundCloud, Podomatic.com, things you've never heard of.
I've never heard of most of these, to be fair.
Like, Stitcher, like, iTunes, obviously.
Yeah, everyone's heard of iTunes.
I heard of Stitcher because that's how I listen to podcasts on my iPhone, on my Android, sorry.
Yeah.
SoundCloud I heard because of music, like a lot of musicians put their new stuff on there. It's mainly a music place, not really podcast, but we got asked to go on it. It was like, yeah, why not? And we get quite a lot of listeners there. And Podomatic.com, I never heard about it until I was making the podcast.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that's where we upload our podcast to originally. That's where our RSS feed is. So, because I don't know if you know, that's how it works. You have an RSS feed, and every time you put a new episode upload, it updates the RSS feed. And when it changes the RSS feed, the episode automatically goes on to the different areas.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we only upload it to one place. It really, cool. And then it kind of automatically goes on to the others. So
it makes our job a lot easier.
It does, yeah, it does. So, have you got any final thoughts?
No, not really. Other than obviously, subscribe to us if you can. Give us a 5-star rating. You must do that.
You have to.
End all your questions with Shatner for the win.
Yeah, Shatner for the win. You got to give Shatner for the win.
Yeah.
My final thought is, there's some good games coming out this year. I'm looking forward to hearing a lot more kind of come out. We're going to be doing movies next week. A lot of good films coming out. And that's going to be fun. Hopefully we'll get George back next week. But I know this, I'm going to say this now, for the last one of Nathan before he goes to India, it's just going to be me and Nathan as the last one. And then
some special time together.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah. So,
I'm sorry.
It's alright, but you'll be when you're back. It's going to be back to normal, and then stuff's going to kick off from then on. So
yeah,
thanks for this is the most accurate we've ever gone on schedule. So we're literally on to an hour and a half. So let's end it now. Thanks for listening and subscribe. Goodbye.
Bye.